Let's do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show on a beautiful Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM if you're driving around the Indianapolis area. And I can't lie, I'm feeling good today. There's nothing like chest day to really get the ego pumping a little bit. You know, hit the bench press, stood up, looked in the mirror, had a nice little pump going. So I'm feeling pretty great today. We're going to start today with the Colts. The schedule release is Thursday night at 8 p.m. Right now, the Colts over-under, if you look at the Vegas lines, it's set at 7.5. I think that's a good number. I think that's a fair number. And with where we sit right now before training camp and everything like that, Colts are probably going to go under that number this year. I don't really trust this team. Their schedule is tough. More on that in a moment because there's a graphic making the rounds that I believe is very deceptive. And the reason why I don't feel good about the Colts is because when you ask the question, what are the things that win games? Colts don't shine too brightly when you answer that question. The two most important things on any NFL team is your quarterback and your head coach. You can ask a lot of questions about both of those guys for the Indianapolis Colts right now. Daniel Jones is coming off of a torn Achilles. How is he going to look when he returns? Last year, as the season progressed, Daniel Jones slowly got worse. Did teams figure out what the Colts were doing last year? Did he regress back to the guy in New York? I know he was injured. That's what everyone immediately says whenever I bring up his regression. Chipped bone in his leg or whatever it was. I don't care about that. Everyone plays hurt in the NFL. By week 5, everybody who's on the field is hurt in some way, shape, or form. So that is not a valid excuse for Daniel Jones and his play that got progressively worse as the season continued on last year. I like Shane Steichen, but there's a long list of head coaches that you have to say are better than him. He's 25-26 during his first 3 years here in Indianapolis. As much as I like him, as smart as I think that he is, can't defend a losing record. And again, there's a long line of coaches that are better than him. Just off the top of the head, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Mike McDonald, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson, Kevin Stefanski. And there's probably a few more in there. That's just, top of the mind guys. The NFL is a drag race. And right now, the Colts are rolling up to the start line with a driver in Steichen, who's got a losing record through 3 seasons, and a car, Daniel Jones, that's had its transmission rebuilt twice in the last year. I don't care how much you like the paint job. That engine and driver combination isn't going to win very many races. Less than 8, to be clear. So the two most important roles on an NFL team for the Colts aren't exactly overflowing with talent. Wouldn't call either one of them elite. Shane Steichen, based off of what he's done in Indianapolis so far, very average. Slightly below average. He's 25-26. Daniel Jones, average at best, probably. After that, you have to look at your defensive line, right? Because every team, it's about how well does your quarterback play and how well does your defense do at impacting the opposing team's quarterback. The Colts have a million question marks along their defensive line. Will Leatu Latu take another step forward? Will Jalen Tuimoloau be playable this year? Will Arden Key top his career high of 6 sacks in a single season? Not a lot of excitement there. I mean, even if the Colts are able to make a late addition like Joey Bosa or Jadeveon Clowney or someone like that, no one is going to feel good about that edge rushing group. No one's going to feel good about the Colts' ability to get pressure with four. After that, there are some things about the Colts roster that you have to like. Doesn't have to be all doom and gloom here. They have a great secondary if it stays healthy. Spoiler alert, it won't. Charvarius Ward has had 1,000 concussions in his career already. We haven't seen Justin Wally play yet because he's coming off of a torn ACL. Let's see how he looks. After those three, it gets pretty thin pretty fast. Colts are going to be calling me and Chris to go play corner if any one of those guys gets hurt. When I look at this secondary, it reminds me of like a nice set of fine china that you get for your wedding and it sits in a cupboard all year because it's too nice for you to actually use. It's beautiful to look at. So nice that your wife went out and bought a specific kind of cabinet so that people could look at it. But the second you actually try to use the china for like a heavy Thanksgiving meal, someone drops a plate, your mom or wife gets really upset, and then Thanksgiving's over. Charvarius Ward's elite, but he's made of glass in a sport played with hammers. The dude's had like 7 concussions in his career. And once you get one, it becomes easier and easier to get them. He's probably going to get hurt at some point this year. We haven't seen Justin Wally play yet. He could struggle. I know he had a really good camp. Everyone said he was great in camp. That's awesome. You can be great in camp, all that you want to. But you got to be great weeks 1 through 18 if you want to win football games. I like the Colts' offensive line. That's obviously a very important thing if you want to be good at football and you want to win games. They've got 6 players for 5 spots if Jalen Farmer ends up being as good as everyone hopes that he's going to be. That is a position of strength for the Indianapolis Colts, and it could potentially elevate the quarterback position. That'd be beneficial. I think a large part of why Daniel Jones had success last year is because the Colts offensive line played as well as it did. But did you notice that as the offensive line got beat up, Daniel Jones started to play worse? The offensive line for the Colts also paved the way for Jonathan Taylor. Had a really nice year last year, his best year since that 2020 season. Okay, so they'll be able to run the football. I think they'll do a good job of giving Daniel Jones enough time to sit back in the pocket and make plays. Okay, the Colts offensive line, it's a solid gold foundation. There is a lot to like about that Colts offensive line. The issue was the Colts are trying to build a skyscraper on top of it with plywood and prayer. Not a great combination. I believe in the power of prayer, but at some point, you got to use the right materials. A great foundation's wasted. The rest of the house can't handle a thunderstorm. And I'm just not convinced that Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen and this defensive line are going to be able to handle the thunderstorms this year. I like their skill guys on offense. Sure, Westbrook Akine or Ashton Doolin or 7th round pick Deion Burks don't exactly get your blood pumping in terms of, whoever's going to play opposite of Alec Pierce. But, I mean, you have to like Alec Pierce. You have to like Josh Downs. You have to like Jonathan Taylor. And you have to like Tyler Warren. All of those guys should make you excited when it comes to when the football is in their hands. So I think that the Colts are going to be fine there. Skill position-wise, they're totally okay. Linebacker, I know we're all excited about C.J. Allen, but right now, it's a question mark. We haven't seen him play yet. He could be bad. It's very possible. C.J. Allen could be a bust. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be pretty good, but I could be wrong. So the 3 most important parts of an NFL roster for the Colts have large question marks. Everything after that is good enough to win games. Sadly, that's not enough to make the playoffs. And with the Colts' schedule being so tough, getting to 8 wins is going to be a struggle. Now, I want to see their schedule. I want to see how it actually shakes out before I make my official prediction on their over under total. But right now I'm leaning towards taking the under because their opponents, it's brutal. It is a rough stretch of teams. I mean, there's a lot of really tough people in there, and you've got a quarterback who has struggled to stay healthy in his career. You've got Riley Leonard or Anthony Richardson sitting behind him because we don't really know who it's going to be. Greg Rosenthal, who hosts a really good NFL podcast called NFL Daily, he riled Colts fans up yesterday with a tweet. He said, quote, "The Colts are funny. They might consider allowing Anthony Richardson to compete with Riley Leonard for QB2. We'll see." And then in parentheses, he put, "The Colts went 8-7, and Richardson starts in his age 21-22 season after taking him fourth overall." Okay. Let's remember that 8-7 record, misleading. He got hurt in like half of those games, and Joe Flacco or Gardner Minshew came in and finished it. That's note number one. With that being said, I think Anthony Richardson should be the backup as long as he's here. I wasn't impressed at all with Riley Leonard last year. Again, Riley Leonard was so good last year in the games that he played in that the Colts were like, you know what? We would rather have 46-year-old Phillip Rivers come in and play quarterback for us. With Anthony Richardson, you at least have NFL talent on the field. And I think that if Riley Leonard ends up being the backup, it says something very important about Shane Steichen. Obviously, it reveals how he feels about Anthony Richardson. He doesn't think that Anthony Richardson can run his system the way that he wants. I think there are two different kinds of offensive coaches in the NFL. There are ones who believe in the players and they tweak their system to do whatever their players do best. I think Kevin O'Connell is a guy like that. The way that he has changed his offensive system in Minnesota to match whatever quarterback he's had, he's a guy who believes in the players. And then there are other offensive coaches in the NFL who believe in their system. Kyle Shanahan, that's the most notable system guy. And I think what has happened in San Francisco is a very good comp for what's happening with Shane Steichen and the Colts. Shane Steichen, also more of a system guy. The 49ers took Trey Lance, third overall, very similar to the Colts taking Anthony Richardson fourth. The biggest difference being that the 49ers coughed up not one, not two, but 3 first-round picks to be able to trade up to draft Trey Lance. Trey Lance was raw, but undeniably talented, like Anthony Richardson. Trey Lance couldn't run Kyle Shanahan's system the way he wanted. So 7th-round pick Brock Purdy became the starter instead. Anthony Richardson, during his time in Indianapolis, has proven he can't run Steichen's system the way that Shane Steichen wants him to. So they went and got Daniel Jones. Again, it's amazing how similar the two situations are. The difference being that after everything that's happened, the 49ers have won a lot of games after moving off of Lance, and the Colts are still hanging out around 500. Okay, but the 49ers eventually moved off of Trey Lance because he couldn't play football, he couldn't play quarterback, he couldn't run the Shanahan system the way that Kyle Shanahan wanted him to. And I think we're reaching a very similar place with Anthony Richardson. He can't run Shane Steichen's offense the way that Shane Steichen wants him to. Shane Steichen is a bigger believer that it is more about the system than it is about the players. It's like, hey, man, if you can just do the bare minimum like Jalen Hurts did when we were in Philly, then we'll be okay. And Anthony Richardson, he likes to ad-lib. He's very gifted. But when you have a coach like Shane Steichen who is more about the system than he is the player, then you're going to run into issues when you draft a raw prospect like Anthony Richardson and hand him the keys. It's almost like Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard should have had a long conversation about that before they took Anthony Richardson fourth overall. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? There's been a lot of discussion around the Indianapolis Colts and their schedule for this upcoming year. There's a graphic making the rounds that is incredibly deceptive, and it's flat out wrong and incorrect. They are saying that the Colts have the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL this year. That's totally absurd, and I'll tell you why in 4 minutes.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome back to the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 AM is greatly appreciated as always. Schedule release for the NFL happens Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're starting to get like little leaks Like, we know the Cowboys are playing the Giants week 1. We know the first Monday Night Football game of the year is September 14th between the Chiefs and the Broncos. We're getting all these little leaks here and there. And there's this graphic going around showing that the Colts have an easy schedule, saying, hey, everybody, based on last year's winning percentage, the Colts have the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL. Don't fall for it. That's just flat out not true. They've got a tough schedule. I think their opponents are incredibly brutal. The reason why it looks like their schedule is easy is because their schedule is filled with teams that underachieved last season that will be on revenge tours this year. Judging this year's schedule by last year's win percentage is like trying to drive a car while only looking in the rearview mirror. Great to know where you've been. Nice to know who's behind you, right? So you can switch lanes whenever you need to. But you're going to be completely blindsided by the 18-wheeler currently sitting in your blind spot. The Chiefs missed the playoffs last year. They're on the Colts schedule this season. Do you think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not. Hopefully, the Colts can play them early in the year before Patrick Mahomes returns from his torn ACL, right? And if he is back, maybe he'll be a little gimpy. This is why the order of the schedule matters. But even if Patrick Mahomes is gimpy, they're probably going to be better this year. Another team on the Colts schedule that missed the playoffs last year that's going to be pretty good. How about the Baltimore Ravens? Something tells me they're not going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row either. Lamar Jackson, it's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They were incredibly beat up defensively last year. Turnovers and health, those are 2 large luck stats in the NFL. Health is a luck thing. I don't think the entire Baltimore Ravens starting defense, with the exception of Kyle Hamilton, is going to be hurt again this year, because that's basically what happened last year. I doubt they'll be as unlucky in terms of their health last year as they're going to be this year. They're going to be better because of that. So while this, graphic is telling you that the Colts schedule is easy, I mean, like playing the Chiefs or Ravens after they missed the playoffs is not a lucky break. It's poking a wounded bear. They're not bad teams. They're elite programs with a grudge. And the Colts aren't catching them on a down year. They're catching them on a year where they're trying to reestablish themselves. So good luck when you have to play those 2 games. The Colts also have to play the Bengals, who missed the playoffs last year. The Bengals have Joe Burrow and 2 elite wide receivers. They got better by bringing in Dexter Lawrence. They've invested at their edge rushing issues in their last 2 drafts. They're going to have a great chance to win the AFC North this year. That's not going to be an easy game either. The Giants are on the Colts schedule this year. They upgraded a head coach. Jackson Dart is going into year 2. Looks pretty good when he played last year. He's going to be their starting quarterback all year this year. They're going to be better. They've got a nice front 7. They can run the football with Scatterbo while he's back there. They're going to be better this year than they were last year. The Colts have the Commanders on their schedule this year. They're going to be better. They went 5-12 last year because Jaden Daniels got hurt. He's back this year, and they're obviously going to be better because of that. They also had Sonny Styles in the NFL draft, a guy who could wind up being the best defensive player taken at middle linebacker. They went to the NFC Championship game 2 years ago when Jaden Daniels was healthy. Now, are they going to go to the NFC Championship game again this year? Probably not. They're also not going to go 5-12, though. That's the other side of this. Okay, the Vikings are on the Colts schedule. They missed the playoffs last year. They're going to be better this year. They're going from the backwards hat-wearing J.J. McCarthy to Kyler Murray, who was good enough to take a pitiful Cardinals franchise to the playoffs with Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. I would argue that that's an upgrade over J.J. McCarthy and that the Vikings are going to be better because they upgraded a quarterback. That's 6 teams that missed the playoffs last year that are more than talented enough to make the playoffs this year. A bunch of the teams that I listed there, at least 4 of them, if they don't make the playoffs again, everyone is going to be very, very surprised. Those 6 teams combined went 38-64 last year. It's probably not going to happen this season. I'd be surprised if those 6 teams didn't combine to have a record over 500. Okay, there's also 2 wild cards on the Colts schedule that could be better. I don't know if it's going to happen, but there's certainly a path for it. The Cowboys could be a playoff team if they were able to fix their defensive issues. They made some trades late in the year last year, drafted a couple guys in the first round. They're on the Colts schedule. That game could wind up being tough. The Titans could be better if Cam Ward improves and if Robert Saleh is a good head coach. That's potentially 3 more tough games. Getting to 8 wins, because again, the Colts over-under this year is set at 7.5. Getting to 8 wins this year is going to be really tough. Because then you have to throw in the fact that they're going to play the Texans twice. If the Texans can figure out their offensive line issues, then they're going to be a team that's good enough to win the Super Bowl. And I don't think that that's hyperbolic at all. I know everyone is hating on C.J. Stroud right now because he had one bad year. He's just gotten drafted, made the playoffs every year, won at least one playoff game. I mean, that's a pretty good quarterback if you ask me. I think everyone here in Indianapolis would sign up for that. They're going to have to play the Jaguars twice this year. Good team last year. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence can do it 2 years in a row. He's yet to really prove that he can do that. So we'll see how he looks. And outside of that, I mean, that's what? That's 10 tough games immediately. And that's assuming that the Titans are going to be bottom dwellers again. There's some easy games on there, like they'll probably beat the Dolphins at home. They'll go on the road to Pittsburgh. You're not dealing with Mike Tomlin anymore. That game's probably going to be relatively easy. They have the Browns. Browns can play defense, but they can't really score. So sure, there's a few easy wins on there. But there's also a bunch of tough games too. I didn't even mention Philly yet. They have to go on the road to play the Eagles. Probably not going to win that one. This is a really tough schedule for the Colts this year, and they were due for it. I mean, they've had a joke of a schedule the last 3 years now. I mean, it's insane the schedule luck that they've gotten. And at some point, it was going to break away from them. And I think that is what's happened this year. They've got a really tough schedule, and 8 wins just feels like a lot when you look at all of their opponents. Okay? So we'll kind of see how it develops from there. And again, I just thinking about the Colts roster compared to all of these teams. I mean, when you look at it up and down, I just of all of their opponents, they have a better roster than the Dolphins. They have a better roster than the Browns, maybe. I really like that Browns defense. They got a better roster than Pittsburgh, probably. And that might really be it. So I feel like we're in for a lot of losses this year, which, it's going to suck in the moment. It's really going to suck in the moment. Because, when you're sitting down on Sundays to watch your favorite team play, because let's be honest, everyone's watching the Colts on Sundays around here, whether they're good or not. And you just know that you're sitting down to watch them lose. That's just a brutal, not fun feeling at all. But the Colts have been needing to hit the reset button for a long time now. And maybe another year of going 4-13. I don't know if it'll be quite that bad. But another year of going significantly under 500. Maybe that's what we need to finally get Chris Ballard out of here. The Jets will rejoice. They'll be like, "Yay, we have your first round pick." Still can't believe that the Colts. I just man, can't believe that at all. What a dumb trade. Um, and maybe it'll lead to Ballard finally getting fired, and then we can all be really, really happy about that. So we'll see. I don't feel good about the Colts at all this year. Maybe training camp highlight videos will change how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, the Colts just don't have the roster. They don't have the quarterback, and it doesn't look like they have the head coach. I know there's, Joe to the C in the YouTube comments is, talking about Daniel Jones's touchdown to interception ratio being 8-1 and, how he protects the football. Ugh. I mean, come on now. The bare minimum, that's what we're happy about. He doesn't turn the football over. Great. Does he win games for you? Look, the Colts won games with Daniel Jones last year, not because of him, with the exception of the Broncos game. I'll, cut him some slack there. He was great in the Broncos game, but I mean, outside of that, congratulations, you beat the Dolphins. Who cares? You beat a bad Titans team. You beat a bad Raiders team. You beat a bad Cardinals team by 4. Okay? I mean, come on now. He beat 2 good teams last year. The Chargers and the Broncos. That was really it. Everyone else wasn't very good. And again, the more he played last year, the worse he got. So, yeah, this Colts team not going to be very, very good this season. But hey, that's okay. We have Indiana basketball to look forward to, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Chris, this could very quickly become like a Giants-focused show if your Giants are good.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Hey, I mean, I like the Giants way more than I like the Colts this year. The only difference being, I think the Giants are in a tougher division. But in terms of the roster, I mean,
yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting, especially with Harbaugh walking in there. They got the new coach. They need some time to gel. It's not going to be an instant, turnaround, but I think they'll have more wins than they did last year.
I think they'll win more games than the Colts do. I'm
yeah,
so serious.
I can see that too.
I mean, they have a better coach. I would rather have Jackson Dart than Daniel Jones.
Agreed.
I love their front seven. The Colts front seven. There's a lot of questions. And so yeah, this Colts team, man, having to talk about this team for 18 weeks this year is going to be brutal.
It's going to be fun to pick it apart, though. I think it's not going to be like there's going to be a lot of expectations, but there's also going to be like some times where we're like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen, or I was surprised by this. This looks good. This looks bad. You know what I mean?
They're going to start 3-0, and people are going to be like, Jonathan, see, the Colts are good. I'll be like, we got 15 more weeks. Let's maybe slow down a little bit.
Super Bowl bound after week 3.
That's what happened last year, right? Like when you go through it, they had a bunch of easy games early. Dolphins, Broncos, Titans, Raiders, Cardinals, Titans again. And then once they started playing good teams, I get it. Daniel Jones got hurt, so this isn't probably the most fair comp in the world. But even if they'd had Daniel Jones, that Texans team was better than they were. Even though the Chiefs ended up getting banged up late in the year, they were better than the Colts were. The Seahawks were better than the Colts were. The Jaguars were better than the Colts were. The 49ers were better than the Colts were. And they didn't play them until the second half of the year. So I get it. There's this big collapse late, after starting 6-2, if I remember correctly. No, 8-2. 8-2. And it's like, it's because Daniel Jones got hurt, which is partially true because the Colts would have been better if they had him. I do think Daniel Jones is better than, 45-year-old Phillip Rivers or however old he was. But I don't think he was making a difference in those games.
Right.
To a point where they're going on the road to Seattle and winning.
Yeah, you can say what you want about last season or the Colts in general. You got to admit it was entertaining. And
it was.
Yeah, I had my popcorn ready when Phillip Rivers came out of retirement, dude. That was just...
That was so much fun. That was the most interesting thing that's happened to the Colts since Phillip Rivers was here last time,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just hard for me to get excited about this season. Again, we're going to get all these training camp highlight videos and everyone's excitement levels will increase or whatever, but we're probably just going to end up winning like 6 or 7 games and then not firing Chris Ballard.
Right, because what'll happen is those games that we win are gonna be impressive against strong teams, and then we're gonna get blown out by the really bad teams.
We'll see. There's not very many bad teams on their schedule, which is a little concerning, but we'll see. I mean, hey, if the Colts are bad, it just means we'll talk Pacers in October, which is totally fine by me. Tony East joining the show at 1:00 to talk Pacers and some potential moves that they could make going forward. I have 10. Top 10 Tuesday when we come back in 3 minutes of some various moves that the Pacers could make to make their team better going into next year.
It may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Uh-oh. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on a beautiful Tuesday. Had a nice chest day this morning. Got a little pump going. Felt really, really good. And because it is Tuesday, time for a little Top 10 Tuesday. 10 potential moves that we could see the Pacers make to make their team better.
Top 10 Tuesday!
Great music. All right, here we go. Top 10 Tuesday. 10 potential moves that the Pacers could make to improve their team. We heard Kevin Pritchard talk about it a lot in the media over the past couple of days. Look, they have 5 of their next 6 first-round picks. They have tradable contracts. And they've got some holes on the roster that they need to fill. He said earlier in the week that, they could take a big swing. They could make some moves around the edges. So I've got a nice little blend here of some around the edges moves and big swing moves that the Pacers could make. So let's start with number 10 here, a nice little around the edges move. Yves Messi, he's the backup center for the New Orleans Pelicans, and I get it. The Pelicans are bad, but I think Messi would be awesome in a Pacers uniform. He's a high-energy player. He rebounds. He finishes around the rim. He's a solid shot blocker as well. He just plays with a ton of effort and force. He's like a Roomba with a vertical, just like high energy all the time. He doesn't need a play call for him. He just kind of wanders the floor, sucks up every rebound, cleans up every mess around the rim, and occasionally bumps into a ball handler to block a shot. Plays with a ton of hustle. I think he would be a fan favorite here in Indiana and would be great in that backup center role if the Pacers wanted to improve that spot. Number 9, Kenrich Williams, small ball center from the Thunder. Okay, the Pacers would have to trade for him as well. I like his effort defensively and his floor spacing with his shooting. You could argue that the Pacers already have a good small ball 5 with Obi Toppin. Very true. But I still like the defensive flexibility that a guy like Kenrich Williams would bring. He's not a full-size toolbox, but he's like a high-quality tool that you keep on your keys. Small, but has the right attachment for every situation, whether you need a corner 3 or a guy to switch onto a center. He's a utility guy that I think could really help the Pacers out. Number 8, the first guy that really gets me excited here, Aaron Wiggins. The Pacers would have to trade for him, and I think that the Pacers could get it done. The Thunder have too many good players, which is a great problem to have. Aaron Wiggins played a vital role for the Thunder off the bench last year in their winning of the NBA Finals. Aaron Wiggins isn't even in their playoff rotation this year, even though Jalen Williams is hurt. A.J. Mitchell has taken all of his minutes. The Pacers need a guy who can come in off the bench, play the 2, and get buckets. That is Aaron Wiggins. This might be my favorite guy on the list in terms of he wouldn't break the bank for the Pacers to trade for him, but he would be able to come in and help the Pacers immediately. He's a really good player that's just buried on a great Oklahoma City team. He's like that secret burger at like a famous burger joint that's actually better than the main attraction. But because the Thunder are so loaded, he's tucked away behind all these stars. But once he gets on the floor, you realize just how valuable he is. And he could be a very important piece here in Indianapolis if the Pacers wanted to go and sign him. Number 7, Peyton Watson. He is a restricted free agent this year, but the Nuggets are pressed up against the cap. We'll see if they're able to re-sign him or not. They said it themselves. Everyone's on the table except for Jokic. He's a guy who could provide the off-the-bench scoring punch that the Pacers are needing with Benedict Mathurin leaving. Peyton Watson is also an excellent defender. He's athletic. He can rebound. He can block shots. And he really shined when Jokic went out earlier in the year with an injury. Okay, this could be a high-end pickup for the Pacers if they wanted to make it happen. And I'm so excited to see what happens with Peyton Watson in general, whether it's here in Indy, in Denver, or somewhere else. He's the stock that's about to split. He's been undervalued because he's been playing behind a guy like Jokic and Aaron Gordon. But the moment he gets his own portfolio, his value's going to skyrocket. Okay, I really like him. Would love it if he ended up in an Indiana Pacers uniform. Number 6, Jock Landale. I've talked about him before. I think he'd be an interesting backup center for the Pacers that they could potentially go sign in free agency. I'm a big believer in having the ability to play multiple styles because, like, if you're looking at the playoffs this year and you're looking at the road through the Eastern Conference, like, let's take the Pistons, for example. Round 1, they have the Magic. Tough, physical Magic team. Round 2, they have Cleveland. A little more finesse, not as physical. You need different players to match the different styles that you're going to see throughout the playoffs. So Jock Landale, I think, gives the Pacers a nice little flip. He's a guy who can really stretch the floor. Right, unlike Zubac, that's not really something that Zubac does. Jock Landale shot 38% from 3 last year. The only downside for him is he's not really a rim protector, right? He's still a bruising center, but he's a smart one. You know, think of him as like an offensive lineman who can also kick a 40-yard field goal if you really need him to. Like, he'll do all of the dirty work. He'll set hard screens like Zubac, but then he'll step out and he'll hit a 3, right? So a lot of value there at the Pacers. Again, want to upgrade the backup center spot. Number 5, Javonte Green. This is another on the margins move that the Pacers could go get. Javonte Green's currently a bench wing for the Pistons. The Pacers could go sign him in free agency. He was solid off the bench for the Pacers, for the Pistons this year. Shot about 38% from 3. Again, this would be more of an around the edges acquisition, but it'd provide a nice little scoring punch for the Pacers off the bench. He is a low cost, high reward spark. You know, you can put him in the game, and 2 minutes into it, things can kind of start popping. So more of like an old school off the bench, maybe he gets hot kind of guy. Number 4, very similar here as well with Tim Hardaway Jr. He is your prototypical off the bench flamethrower. He can shoot you into or out of games. Offensively, I think he would fit really well with the Pacers because he moves so well off the ball. He's an excellent shooter, has been his whole career. He's been around a while now, the kind of guy who's never won a championship. Maybe he takes a slight discount to come here to Indy to have a chance to do that. I think he's a winning player who would fit really well here. Okay? And so I really hope this is a guy that I wouldn't mind the Pacers going out and finding just because he's tough and he is absolutely fearless. And you need guys like that on your roster. Now, occasionally, you got to rein him in a little bit. But with Tim Hardaway Jr., him being older should be a little bit easier to rein him in, and I think he would get a ton of good looks. Okay. Number 3, we got Mitchell Robinson. He's going to be a free agent. Probably going to re-sign with the Knicks. But if he doesn't, he would be awesome here. The Pacers would be so tough on the glass between him and Zubac. The physicality of the Pacers, I think, would take a large leap by adding a player like him. And I would just, man, he'd be awesome here. But again, probably going to re-sign with New York, so I'm not going to get my hopes up too high with that. But he's a guy that I think would be a lot of fun here in Indy. Number 2, another guy that I think would be super impactful for the Pacers if they were able to find a way to add him this year. Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder feels like he's played for every single organization in the NBA except for the Pacers, unless there's a year in there that I'm missing. Everywhere he goes, he has been impactful. It's so impressive how he just shows up on random rosters in February and just immediately creates an impact. He defends. He can create offense. If you go back, if you watch him play internationally for Germany, I mean, he beats everyone off the bounce. It's really impressive. Going back 2 years, so last year's playoff run, he was so important for the Pistons in their really tough series against New York. because he can guard pretty much any guard in the NBA, and he can create his own shot. This year, he's a vital piece for the Cavaliers, and they don't really need him to score. They just need him to come off the bench and guard and make open shots. He would be great here in Indy. He's a bigger guard as well, so he can play the 2 or the 1. I mean, and he would provide a ton of edge. He is so incredibly tough. Dennis Schroeder would be great. He's sharp, he's compact, and he's a bit annoying if you're on the wrong team. He's the kind of guy in pickup that you're sitting there, it's like your third pick, and you're looking around. It's like, man, I don't think that guy's very good, but I certainly don't want to play against him. So, hey, man, come on over. That's Dennis Schroeder. Okay, and he just kind of finds a way to be impactful everywhere he goes. And again, I love his edge. I love his toughness and his willingness to kind of take it to other teams. He's got some nasty to him, which I always like. Last one here. This would be the big swing. If the Pacers did this, I would be elated. Of all the possible moves that the Pacers could make, this would be the biggest one. They could trade for Trey Murphy. The Pacers would have to part ways with a lot of their picks if they did this. They'd have to outbid a lot of people for him because young wings who can defend, dribble, pass, and shoot are very valuable in the NBA, and that is exactly what Trey Murphy is. I mean, what more do you want? Every guy that I have listed so far on this list would come off the bench for the Pacers. Okay, Trey Murphy would probably start. Okay, he is the absolute biggest swing that the Pacers could take. Trading him wouldn't be a gamble. Because for some of these guys, it's like, are they going to slide in and work the way that I want them to? Trey Murphy, if they were to trade for him, it wouldn't be a gamble. It would be seen as more of an expensive purchase. He's the complete luxury upgrade. While every other guy on this list is just like a part to a car, Trey Murphy's like a turbocharged engine. He's the one guy who doesn't just like improve the bench. He changes the ceiling of the entire team. So that is my list of 10 guys who can, maybe, just maybe, come in and elevate this Pacers team to a point where we feel good about them not having the 5th overall pick. Chris, I saw that you typed breaking news with question marks. What's up?
Yeah, man, a little breaking news.
What happened? I missed this.
Just give a quick shout out to our old friend Andrew Dockich. He's joining the Miami of Ohio Redhawks as assistant coach. Let's go, Andrew. Spent the last 4 seasons at Illinois State. We know that. Let's give it up for Andrew right there.
Good for him, man. I didn't realize that happened.
Yeah.
Good for him. Where'd you see that?
It's actually on Miami of Ohio's website.
Okay. There you go.
Big story right there.
Yeah.
Congrats to Andrew.
Congrats to Andrew, man. Good for him. He'll do a good job there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's a good coach. Back in the MAC, Dan's roots. He'll do good. Excited for him. So, all right. That's good for you. Because, I mean, look, Miami, Ohio, they were really good last year.
Yeah, they were.
31-1 or whatever it was. And, look, man, if you're a mid-major school getting an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament, that means you're really freaking good. And then you throw in the fact that they won 30 games. So, congrats to good old Andrew Dockich. Top 10 Tuesday wrapping up. We've got the one and only Tony East of Locked On Pacers, writes for 1,000 different outlets as well about the Pacers, writes about the Fever as well. He is set to join the show coming up at 1 o'clock. I'm going to run a lot of these ideas by him in terms of potential trades and things. How big of a swing does he want to see the Pacers make? Is this something that we're going to see them do this summer in the offseason? Is this something that, maybe they wait until February to make some sort of big move? We'll see. But Tony East of Locked On Pacers joins at 1 o'clock. But first, throwing it to producer Chris with your sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. Just a few short stories for what's trending in indie sports this hour. The Indiana Fever traveling to LA today to prep for their next game against the Sparks. That's tomorrow night, and the tip-off is at 10:30. We're staying up for that one for sure, aren't we?
That's right.
Caitlin Clark expected to start despite a minor back adjustment during this past Saturday's season opener, so we'll likely see her on the court. The Pacers management team addressing fans, obviously, after losing the first-round pick to the Clippers in Sunday's draft lottery. I think once the dust settles, we'll all be okay. But basically, they're just doing some damage control right now. NFL releases the season schedule for the upcoming season starting just a few short months away. It'll be here before you know it. That is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. You can see all that unfold on the NFL Network. And, of course, always more to come on The Real Jonathan Smith Show right after the break on Indie Sports Ticket, 1430.
Let's do this. It's the Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Hour number 2 of the Real Jonathan Smith Show getting underway here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 AM, so many ways to listen. There's really no excuse not to. We are now joined by the one and only Tony East of Locked On Pacers and many other outlets where he writes and covers both the Pacers and the Fever. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good to be home after one of the more dramatic NBA events I've ever covered, Jonathan. I'm good.
Yeah, you were at the lottery drawing. What was the feeling like in the room? How tense was it?
Yeah, it was really interesting because there were only two tense moments, I feel like, for everybody in there. One was all 29 teams praying that the Thunder's pick from the Clippers does not jump into the top 4. And, like, you're in this room and it's on TV right then, right? So everybody's kind of quiet, like just letting Mark Tatum yell out the announcements. That was one of the only times you could hear people kind of react, was when the Thunder got the 12th pick. And then obviously the Pacers, which was interesting because Kevin Pritchard fidgeted a little bit. Their GM, Chad Buchanan, was really still. But then right after that pick, they go to commercial, right, before they reveal the top 4. So all of a sudden, it's all anybody could talk about. It was the biggest thing that happened that day. It was just absolutely fascinating to see it all happen the way it did.
It was. I felt so bad, man, because Kevin Pritchard has done a great job, and he sent out the tweet afterwards. He went on the McAfee show yesterday. He did, like 10 minutes of media, like right after the lottery. I like the trade still. How do you feel about it after the Pacers, obviously falling out of the top 4 yesterday or earlier in the week and losing their pick?
Yeah, it's kind of how you evaluate transactions in general, if your opinion changed on this. And what I mean by that is I've almost equated it to like when an NFL coach goes for 2, and it's kind of a goofy time to go for 2. And if they get it, all the fans are like, wow, what a genius. He's so smart. What a great job getting those 2 points. And if they fail, every fan's like, this guy's so stupid. He has no idea what's going on. And it's like the process of choosing to go for 2, they don't care about. They only care about the results of the play. And so you look at what happened for the Pacers at the lottery. If they had gotten a top 4 pick, every fan would have called Kevin Pritchard the biggest genius of all time, right? He got Zubac and kept the pick, but they lost it. And so everybody's calling him an idiot for doing the trade. And to be fair to this, like, coaches and executives in pro sports often get graded by the results, right? Like, even if the process of a trade was good, if it goes badly, people talk about it like that. Like Kawhi Leonard for George Hill, when no one knows how good Kawhi Leonard's going to be, looks good when it happens and looks terrible in hindsight, obviously, right? It's kind of like that. And so I'm kind of rambling to say, I said when the trade happened that's what I thought the value of Zubac would be. So I stand by the process. But right now, this is the literal worst case scenario, right? They gave up the 5th pick. That's as high as a pick they could have possibly given up in this trade, unless somehow something goes awful in 2029, which is when the Pacers have that unprotected pick out. So it is worse. Like it factually is worse. Like there is no way to cut around that. And I think as time passes, how that worseness, for lack of a better term, is graded. It'll be based on what happens now, right? If Zubac looks awesome this season, and if the Pacers make the conference finals or the finals again, people will forget, right? If the 5th pick that the Clippers make, if that player's terrible, people will forget. If that player's awesome or Zubac isn't that good, or the Pacers start this season slow, people will never forget, right? They will hold his feet to the fire forever. So honestly, my opinion of the trade was more on the value when it happened, and obviously knowing that this was a possible outcome at the time. But I do understand fans wanting to see now what happens and kind of judging it that way, because everybody right now is calling it bad. That said, sorry, I'm talking way too long for this question.
No, you're good.
That said, I think a lot of the reaction, like in the negative direction, is too much based on people being too low on Ivica Zubac. Like I see people call him like an average center or just a rebounding big. I'm like, he is not even close to that. 2 years ago, the Pacers made the finals, the NBA finals, and Zubac got more All-NBA votes than Pascal Siakam that year, right? He was legitimately awesome 2 seasons ago. Now he was not as good as that last year, but that player is there. If that player or even close to that player appears for the Pacers, they're going to be just fine in this trade. So if he is not as good as that, the trade will look bad for a lot of reasons, but I think that they're betting that he's going to be the last piece. And so I'm looking forward to seeing those fans either be right or wrong, because that's what this comes down to now.
Joined by Tony East of Locked On Pacers. You can also read him at Forbes.com. You can read him at the Circle City Spin, the Nine Sports, where he covers the Fever, and many, many more places. Follow him on X at Tony R. East. I, listening to Kevin Pritchard throughout, over the past couple of days, I feel like he has really emphasized two things. One, they really like their starting five, which they should. Everyone who thinks Zubac is average, I'm just like, okay, like you're not staying up till 1 a.m. watching the Clippers. That's all that means, and I get that. The other thing that he keeps emphasizing is how the Pacers have 5 of their next 6 first-round picks. And, like, he said it in a way where I'm like, are they going to move any of these? Like, what is the likelihood of the Pacers making some sort of trade to maybe bring in one more piece? Because not having Mathurin, not having a guy who can come in off the bench and really score for you, that's, I think, the one area of concern with the Pacers. So what are the chances that they move one of those picks to bring in one more piece?
Yeah, Chad Buchanan said that. He said that they could use another maybe scoring wing off the bench. And if you look at that unit, if it's a backup center, Toppin and McConnell, they definitely could use that, even if Jarris Walker or Ben Shepherd is there. That's not really what they do. So they could definitely use that kind of player. And yeah, that is something Pritchard, I mean, what's funny is like, he's harping on this now because it's like the biggest ripple effect, but he even said this. Do you remember this? He was tweeting like crazy right after like All-Star break. He tweeted something like, what do fans think of tanking? And he was responding to all these people all day. I don't know if you remember that. And in one of those replies, he was talking about the trade, and he said, yeah, if we lose the pick this year, we'll unlock all of our drafts in the future, right? So he's been talking about this for a while. And I only bring that up to say, like, this is not like a lip service after the lottery thing that he just came up with. Like, they've known that this would be a potential benefit for a while. And what he means is you can't trade, this, Jonathan, but you can't trade picks 2 years in a row in future seasons. And so by having their 2031 first, the Pacers now can trade 2027, 2031, and 2033 the second this year's draft is over. So they have 3. I mean, in theory, they could get somebody like pretty good if they're willing to trade 3 of their first. They probably shouldn't right away, but that is possible for them. And if they didn't have their 2031, they could only trade 2033, right? So it changes a lot of what's possible for them in the future. And a lot of times when, GMs say, oh, we can trade all these picks now, we got more first, like they're just saying stuff, right? The Pacers, I believe it more because they just traded picks. They just did it, right? Like their actions say they're willing to be good right now while Tyrese Haliburton is on their team. So that is their clearest path, I think, whether it's this offseason, during next season, next offseason, after seeing how good the Zubac team is, whatever. That is their best route to getting another legitimately good player, is trading some of their picks or all of their picks for someone great. And if they do that, I think people will, again, feel differently about the Zubac trade in general.
I agree with you. And the big fish right now that I've seen Pacer fans bring up, Warrior fans like to bring this guy up. Like every team that is somewhere between average and good is like, what if we traded for Trey Murphy? And then the Pelicans.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. And then the Pelicans are like, we're not trading Trey Murphy. So I don't want to talk about that idea, but there is a guy that comes to my mind pretty quickly that I would love to have here. Aaron Wiggins just like was really big for the Thunder last year and like doesn't play because AJ Mitchell's such a stud now. I would like to see a guy like that. Is there anyone that kind of comes to your mind that you'd like to see the Pacers maybe make an effort to go get?
Yeah, Pacers Thunder trade would be pretty funny after their finals match a couple of years ago. That would be an interesting. I like that, like skill fit too for what their second unit really needs. I mean, in Game 2 of the finals, the Thunder won by a lot of points. Like they would have won even if Aaron Wiggins was average, but he was amazing in that game, right? Like he was among their best players for the Thunder that night. The Pacers could not stop him. Like he's got that level of scoring, and it's rich to say for a team that's 8-0 in the playoffs right now, but like he actually might be available because they have McCain now. They're going to have to sort their finances out, at some point, whether that's after the season or whatever. So yeah, that's a good pull. I might look into that one a little more honestly as time passes, because that is the kind of wing that they would need. Is someone who can occasionally have a microwave scoring night, can put the ball on the floor, can play with the starters without completely killing that unit as well. But is more so thought of for his ability to handle the ball, because the slow drip they've had the last couple of years, the players they've lost are Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, Doug McDermott, Ben Mathurin, those types and that kind of level of player, they've lost a lot of bench wings and a lot of backup fives. And so to me, that would be, if they wanted to upgrade in the offseason, what they'd look at is those two positions, if they don't swing big, that is. And so that's kind of where I would look, and Wiggins does certainly fit that. I don't even know if it would take a first to get him, given OKC's financial situation.
Yeah, they've got an embarrassment of riches over there. I think, you can probably get him for a few seconds or something. I don't know.
I mean,
but
dude, they have AJ Mitchell making $3 million, and he was just the second best player in a series, third best player probably in the series, right? Yeah. Like Chet, Shea, and him were the top three guys on the team that swept. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, what they've done over there is it's absurd, and they look unbeatable right now. And Jalen Williams, he's not even playing. I mean, the Lakers played as well as they could last night and lost by 5 at home with their backs against the wall. I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
As well as they could, outside of having Maxi Kleba on the floor instead of Rui for some reason on a huge play when you need 3 points.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was great.
Well, I mean, Rui said it, I think it was after game 3. I don't like shooting threes, which is a weird thing to say when that's your job. I mean,
any role player playing with LeBron and Reeves should be more than willing to shoot threes. Yes.
Yeah. Again, joined by Tony East of Locked On Pacers. Does a great job writing about them as well at Forbes.com and a couple other sites as well. You can follow him at Tony R. East on X to kind of keep up with everything that he's got going on. The backup center thing is interesting because I know a lot of people like Jay Huff, Micah Potter, I thought played well. What would you like to see them, or like what kind of player would you like to see them kind of go after if they did look to add a backup center?
I'd like the truth serum, the front office, because Chad Buchanan said, yeah, they might look to upgrade that backup 5, right? Or that might be something they look at in the offseason. And then Kevin Pritchard at the lottery was like, yeah, we're going to let Jay and Micah compete for the backup 5. I'm like, which is it? These are very opposite answers, and it might be just difference of opinion or whatever. But what they like, Jay Huff is fine, right? He makes threes in some games, but not all of them. His defense blocking shots is legit, but he's kind of slow, right? So that's like a fine backup center who clearly has skills. He was in the playoff rotation for the Grizzlies 2 years ago. Like, he is good enough, I think, to be their backup 5 next season. It's not always there, It feels like some games he's great, and some games it's like, they could do better at that spot. But I would, if I'm the Pacers, his contract is really good. I think that was part of the appeal of trading for him, beyond that he is actually like a good player, is I would like to just see him a full year in the Tyrese Halliburton Pacers system, right? Everybody looks better, even if it's bench guys. They're just in a more normal role. They're all playing together, right? Like if he looks better next year, if he doesn't look better next year, that'd be very telling for what they need. And Potter played well enough to give himself a chance as well. So honestly, I think Huff is, for me, if I'm in charge of the Pacers, enough to start the season as the backup 5. But I do understand if they want another type of player, right? Thomas Bryant was a little more consistent with the shooting. Jalen Smith was better on the glass. Isaiah Jackson could defend a lot of positions. Like, they just got a little bit more value out of past backup centers. Just right now, they really need somebody who is cheap and can produce. And Huff is that player, but he was just so kind of up and down for last year's, albeit kind of tanky team. So I don't know what they should do at that position, but I think if I'm them, I'm letting Huff get the shot to start the year and figuring it out after that.
That's kind of what I think that they'll do. I think that they're going to wait to make a move. There's another guy that's, when you question this guy, it feels a little wrong. TJ McConnell's 34. Small guards don't have like the longest shelf life in the NBA. What do you, any chance that they look to grab like not a replacement for a McConnell, but like a just in case he starts to look old next year?
And they did that last year, right? Like,
yeah,
they already felt Quentin Jackson's on the team. I kind of view him more as a combo guard than a point guard, but he can fill in a little bit. But like, even going into last year, they're like, you know what? We need Monte Morris and DeLon Wright and Cam Payne. Like, they clearly feel that way. I wrote a story last summer about this, about like, TJ McConnell is still definitely good, but he's definitely starting to like get to this tier of, okay, how long can this happen? Where basically every player his age and older who is playing as many minutes as him, it's like TJ McConnell, Brooke Lopez, and a bunch of former All-Stars, right? Who like have either insane IQ or insane size or, something that makes it more tenable for them to play a lot of minutes at a higher age. So TJ McConnell is breaking a lot of trends by being good at his size at this age and with his shot profile. Like, his three-point attempt rate with how often he hit the ball, it was like him, Giannis, and Sengun. Like he's just such a unique player in that I really worry. Like if he can't get in the lane as much, or if he can't hit that little turnaround jumper from 6 feet away, like what is this? Is this even a helpful player at all? He only has one more fully guaranteed season, so they only need him to be kind of good for one more year. And so I think, to your point, what they would like to do is sign a veteran, another point guard behind him, and hope he's good enough and have another option just in case. And Quentin Jackson and that veteran could be that option. But I'd be very fascinated to see how they feel about that, because his salary is probably a little bigger than his value now. It wasn't the case maybe as recently as last season. So he's a very interesting piece for them, but they kind of need him. They need somebody to get in the lane for the second unit.
Seriously. Joined by Tony East. Follow him on X at Tony R. East. You can listen to him on Locked On Pacers as well. Last question for you, Tony, and I will let you go. I want to close it out here with like the most sports radio question ever. You ready?
Okay. Yes, I love these.
Should the Pacers sign 41-year-old LeBron James this offseason?
Go. Okay, to give you the real answer, if that's actually possible, yes, they should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but no. I mean, honestly, I would wonder how he would even I know you're joking, but like, would he even fit the way they play now? Like, he's just so methodical and slow.
Yeah. Would LeBron be willing to come off the bench and lead the second unit? I don't know. Probably not.
Behind Aaron Nesmith to close out your career, I do not think that's going to be a thing that happens. Do you think he played his last game last night? I don't, but
no, he's too good, man. Like,
he's still good.
He's really good. It may be his last game as a Laker. But at the same time, it's like, where else is he really going to go? Like, Cleveland would be interesting. Outside of that, though, like, I don't really know where he would end up.
Yeah, if he wants to get paid, it's like kind of just Lakers, right? Like, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
In terms of legitimate options, everywhere else that kind of makes sense for one reason or another, Golden State or Cleveland or whatever, it's like he'd have to make way less money, right? So it'd be very confusing. Plus, only one of those teams has his son on the roster, so that also seems like it would be a big factor.
I'm sure the Lakers would let Bronny leave.
No, not Bronny. Oh, dang it. Lost him.
He was really part of the core. What a bummer. Him and Jake LaRavia.
It is fun. It's like obviously a little bit of a joke that like because it's his son, but like Bronny doesn't suck. Like he is like a you can bet on this guy, young guy, but he's probably not going to be much in terms of a rotation player ever in the NBA.
Probably not.
I've seen worse players get signed because they're related to a player. How about that?
That's fair. Would you rather have Bronny James or Cam Jones going forward?
Oh, man, I honestly might take Bronny. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the Cam Jones stuff was not great this year.
Not a good year one for Cam Jones.
Yeah, not at all. But
Jonathan, I didn't tell you this, so I'll say this now. Congrats on the mini. I met someone in your small group the night before who was telling me you're doing it. So
yeah,
I found out from them. It was good times. I don't know if you've heard that since.
I heard from them that they knew you. They were like, Jonathan, do you know who you should have on your show? And whenever anyone says that, I'm immediately like, oh, gosh. They're like, we know this guy. His name's Tony East. And I was like, love Tony. He's great.
Well, it's funny. They said, we met someone who we think knows the Pacers and sports as much as you. And usually I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they said it was you. I was like, oh, yeah, he actually does. for once, you're not wrong.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome. Yeah,
well, congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. My feet still hurt. That's okay. Thanks for your time, Tony.
You got it, man. Take care.
See ya. That is Tony East. Check him out on X at Tony R. East. He does a great job covering the Pacers and the Fever. They play tomorrow night. I know we're all excited about that. All right, when we come back, the Colts schedule doesn't look great. I think it's going to be a pretty tough year for them. The over-under set at 7.5 for the season. We will talk about that in 4 minutes.
fits in today's sports world. It's here. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe. Maybe you're watching the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 a.m. It's a big day today because we're training Jack how to produce. And so Chris is just hanging out, man. It's kind of bizarre. Do you remember? There you go. That one right there. Chris, he turns your mic on. That's the other mic. Wait. This is real. There it is.
There we go.
That's so fun.
We're working out.
Do you not know what to do with your hands right now, Chris?
I didn't come here to work today. I'm just hanging out.
Training people's the best.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
It is.
Are you having fun, Jack? You know what's going on?
Yeah, I'm having a great time so far.
Okay.
You can move the mic. You don't have to like hunch over to talk into it. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
There you go. Got a nice little three-way going right now. Hit the bell. That's the most important thing. You can mess everything up. Just make sure you hit the bell whenever something questionable is said.
I was going to say that.
There it is.
That wasn't up.
Yeah, all good. All good.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah. It's a process, you know? It's all right. All right. Chris, are you more excited about the Pacers next year, which were, however many months away October is? Are you more excited for that, or are you more excited for the start of the Colts season, which is 4 months away?
I'm more excited in that aspect for the Pacers season, but I'm more excited for the football season in general.
Just because it's football?
Right.
Fair enough.
I get so excited whenever the preseason games are on. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening.
Like, I can't wait to watch Anthony Richardson fight for his job. How does Deion Burks look against the guy who's going to be selling insurance in 3 days?
Right. But how do you feel? What are you looking forward to more?
I think the right answer is IU football.
Okay. That's
but
also
not really,
acceptable.
though. Like, I want to be excited about Indiana football. I want to so badly. But then, like, I look at their schedule, and the first month, like, they might as well be playing high schools. Like they're going to win by so many points. And then they're going to play Ohio State, and that 1 week's going to be awesome. It's going to be in Bloomington. I may drive down there, grab some Da Vinci's. That place is so freaking good.
Absolutely.
So good. And then, but all right, we got 4 more weeks until they play Michigan. And then, it's going to be like, oh, did y'all see them beat Michigan State by 70? And like, that's going to kind of be it. And so I want to be excited for that. Yeah. But I'm not. And it's not like Purdue, where it's the opposite up there. It's like, oh, they play Southwestern State University this week. Yeah. Oh, they won by 3. We got 4 weeks until they play another game that they might be able to win. And so it's an interesting time. I didn't really answer your question.
No. That's well thought out, informative. So good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Good answer.
I'm wrong on that, by the way. Apparently they play Ohio State and Michigan in back-to-back weeks. Great. It's a 2-week season, and guess what? If Indiana loses both of them, they'll still make the playoff. So it's this foregone conclusion thing. And with the Colts, it's like, again, their schedule is going to come out on Thursday, and we'll do a big thing on it on Friday. I texted Dan. I want him to come on Friday. We'll see if he can do that or not. He was in D.C. yesterday, hanging out at the White House. That's pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, the Indiana football team
right, yeah,
visited the White House.
Yeah.
Dan got to go with him, which is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was a part of that.
Yeah.
I saw them on the news go, and, they had the thing with Trump and everything, but I didn't know Dan was there.
Yeah, and so hopefully he's able to come on Friday. Sorry, Chris, you won't be here for that.
Yeah, well.
No, it'll be all right.
I'm sure you guys are going to have a blast, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We will, man. Dan's always a good time. And, we'll talk about how this schedule's really tough because eventually, like, you can't have an easy schedule every year. At some point, it doesn't break your way. And, But yeah, I'm not excited for the Colts at all. I need I don't even know what I need. I need a Marvin Harrison 7-minute highlight reel to get me excited. Maybe.
This might be one of those seasons where we just turn on YouTube and watch old highlights of Manning and whenever we were good.
Yeah. It's look at that outdated offense. They're running the football on first down with Joseph Adai. What is this? I don't know. I don't know. Jack, are you excited for the Colts this year?
I mean, I'm excited what they can do. I mean, especially defensively, I feel like they've got a lot of interesting pieces that they could put together that we didn't really get to see last season.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's going to be kind of like you said, a run-of-the-mill season. But if anything does pop up, I mean, it's going to be an exciting thing. I mean, it'll be a surprise. So,
ding. Pop up, it'll be an exciting thing. There we go.
Stays in the gutter all day, doesn't it, John?
The whole day. Well, really just for these 3 hours. When I go home
fair enough.
and I hang out with Amelia, I turn it off. We go from thoughts in the gutter to, Amelia, you've never seen the Fast and Furious movies. We need to change that immediately. Seriously. Last night, she's usually just all in on whatever I want to do. But I was like, we should watch the Fast and Furious movies. And she was like, we should do literally anything else. Okay.
At least you tried.
Yeah, and we're going to make another valiant effort tomorrow night. Oh, we missed it. Gosh dang it. Heath, great YouTube comment. We should watch Quiddy Pay highlights. We should all order pizza. We should go to the Colts facility. We should sit down with Chris Ballard and watch Quiddy Pay highlights. We can look at his 8 sacks from last year. It'll be riveting stuff.
Agreed. I was going to say that or A.D. Mitchell highlights.
Dude, yeah, let's watch him drop the football at the goal line. I mean, come on now. Heath saying Amelia didn't make you watch American Idol last night. That's not our thing, man. We played mini golf. That's what we ended up doing. I won. Just want to make sure everybody knows I won. To make sure everybody knows.
Was there any question? Nobody doubted that you lost.
Amelia is really competitive, and it's annoying how good she is at some stuff. She's not listening right now, so I can say this. I not hate, that's a strong word. Whenever Amelia is like, Jonathan, we should play Mario Kart, or Jonathan, we should play Mario Party, I'm immediately like, I don't want to do that because she's better at those games than I am. And it's really frustrating.
You're a sore loser.
Not as sore as I used to be. It's so funny. When we were dating, we went to Dave & Buster's. Great place. It's our third date. And they had Mario Kart. And look, growing up, I've got 2 brothers and a dad. And we would play Mario Kart or whatever. And I would normally win. And my buddies would come over and I would normally win. And so we go to Dave & Buster's and they have Mario Kart. And she's like, I love Mario Kart. And I'm like, so do I. Prepare to get dusted. And then she proceeded to beat me every game we played.
She whooped your tail.
She didn't whoop me. It was and the frustrating part is I would be in first by a long way.
Sure.
And then I would get blue shelled, which is just the most infuriating thing ever.
Evil.
And I think every guy has been in a place where you're on a date and it's early in the relationship and you like the person. So there's parts of your personality that you try really hard to suppress.
Sure.
And so she's beating me. She's like, this is so much fun. And I'm like, this is a blast. Can we do anything else? Can we go play something else now, please?
That's great.
Oh man. And so now that we're married, my my sore loserness comes out a lot more, to a point where she'll beat me and she'll be like, I don't want to play anymore. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. That is not my intent.
I can't wait till you guys have kids.
Yeah, seriously. Well, that'll be different because I'll just beat them and everything. It'll be great, Amelia will be like, can I play? And I'll be like, no. Little Tommy's getting lapped again. So, well, we'll see. That got off topic. That's okay though. That's all right. So yeah, Colts not excited about their season. With that being said, I am always excited for my over under bets. I'll be able to get a good look at those for Friday. That'll be a lot of fun. And we'll kind of see how it goes. That is, Jack, that's my thing, man. I'm a terrible betting against the spread guy, but over unders. It's where I make my money every year.
Are you more of an over or under guy?
It depends. There's a I wouldn't call it a formula. That's not the right word. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. It's more of like there are certain teams that I always bet the over on, and there are certain teams that I always bet the under on. So turnovers are a really big luck stat. They fluctuate from year to year. So, for example, the Bears led the NFL in takeaways per game last year. They're not going to do that again. And so they'll lose a couple more games because of that. The issue is they have Caleb Williams, so I don't know if I'm willing to bet they're under. But like the Jets, I'm probably going to bet they're over because it's going to be like 4.5 or 5.5. They're better at quarterback. I like their draft, and they're going to have better turnover luck this year to a point where they go 6-11 or whatever it ends up being. So I'll definitely take theirs, and then I'll have to look through the rest of it to see who else I like. Like I'll probably take the Chiefs over because they were like 25th in turnovers or in takeaways per game last year. That number's going to go up. Mahomes is going to be back, and I think they'll be better. So over-unders, we'll do all those on Friday. Can't wait to do that. When we come back, we will actually talk about the Colts over-under being 7.5, not more of me complaining about how I can't beat my wife in Mario Kart.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. Boston is currently trading at 14% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out $667 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 14:30 a.m. No matter how you are tuned in, it is greatly appreciated. I think John Buzzard said it well on X. He said that he would be more excited to run a half marathon than year 10 of Chris Ballard. And I think that's accurate.
I don't even run, and I agree with that.
I mean, seriously, it's like how far or how short of a run would it have to be for you to be like, I think I'm more excited about the Colts season than that? If that or how far of a run, I guess.
Mile.
You'd rather run 2 miles than watch 18 weeks of Colts football?
Yes.
So-
Right now, yes. What
I guess-
about you? You're the runner. I don't know.
I'm not a runner. I'm never running ever again. I don't know if I've shared this, you can stop me. I'm never running ever again because I got done with the race and I felt pretty okay. And then I got home and I had to shower and I looked down. One of my toenails is just like completely black. It's disgusting. I saw it. I almost passed out.
Gross.
I was like, because of how gross it was.
Right.
I almost passed out. And then I almost threw up. And I was like, never again.
Just from running that one. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It's like my toe was bleeding and it's just dried blood underneath my toenail.
That doesn't sound comfortable at all.
It's not. It's terrible. I don't like thinking about it, And then Amelia will see it and she'll be like, Jonathan, it's not that bad. I'm like, yes, it is. What are you talking about? This is terrible. So, yeah. But all right, Colts over-under set at 7.5 wins on the year. Their schedule is coming out Thursday night, 8 p.m. The 7.5, that's a good number. I mean, I get it. They brought in Sauce Gardner. Not exactly lifting you to like a 10-win season. Okay, so that 7.5 number is pretty good. Right now, I'm leaning towards betting the under. I just don't trust this team. Schedule's brutal. More on that here in a bit because there's a graphic making the rounds that indicates otherwise, and that graphic's just a load of hooey. Excuse me. So what are the things that win games in the NFL? Every team that's good has a great quarterback and head coach combination. Colts don't have that. You can ask a lot of questions about both of those guys right now for the Colts. Daniel Jones is coming off of a torn Achilles. He got worse as the season progressed last year. I get it. He beat a bunch of bad teams early on in the year. And, so I guess that makes him great. I get it. We haven't seen competent quarterback play in Indianapolis in quite some time. But like 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions last year doesn't exactly get me fired up. A QBR of 63 doesn't really get me excited. So sorry about that. So I a lot of questions about him, mainly how is he going to look coming off of that torn Achilles? I get it. Whenever I bring this up, everyone says, well, Jonathan, he chipped a bone in his leg or whatever it was. He was hurt. That's why he wasn't playing well. I don't care. Everyone plays hurt in the NFL. It's just a reality of it. Okay, so anyway, don't really believe in Daniel Jones in year 2. Hard to say that I believe in Shane Steichen either, even though I really want to because I like Shane Steichen. There's just such a long list of head coaches that you have to say are better than him. He's 25 and 26 in his 3 years here in Indianapolis. I get it. The Colts roster hasn't been very good, but he is certainly not without fault. And as much as I like him, I can't really defend a guy who's got a losing record. When you just go off the top of the head, there are so many coaches that you can just immediately name that are better than him. Or Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Mike McDonald, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson. DeMeco Ryans, I would argue, is a better head coach than Shane Steichen. Liam Cohen's a better head coach than Shane Steichen. Kevin Stefanski is a better coach than Shane Steichen. And there's more after that if you sat down and looked at the full list. But I'll stop there for right now. And when you look at the NFL's a drag race. It is a 17-game sprint. And right now, the Colts are rolling up to the start line with a driver in Steichen, who's got a losing record through 3 seasons, and a car, Daniel Jones, that's had its transmission rebuilt twice, torn Achilles, torn ACL. I don't care how much you like the paint job. I don't care how much you like the offensive line. I don't care how much you like Alec Pierce. That engine and driver combination isn't winning many races. So the two most important roles on an NFL team for the Colts aren't exactly overflowing with talent. After that, you have to look at your defensive line. The Colts defensive line has a million question marks. If only they had brought back Kwity Paye. But even if they're able to make a late addition like Joey Bosa or Jadeveon Clowney, no one's going to feel good about that group. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney had, I think, 8.5 sacks last year. It's not really getting me fired up. Joey Bosa, I think, had 4 sacks last year for the Bills. And part of that was because he was the only decent pass rusher on that line. But Joey Bosa was so good last year that the Bills decided not to bring him back. Okay, after that, after the 3 most important position groups on your team, you finally get to things on the Colts roster that you have to like. The secondary's talented, if it stays healthy. Spoiler alert, it's not going to. Javarius Ward has had way too many concussions. I'm kind of surprised that he's even playing this year. Like, he's at a point where he may have to, like, medically retire if he gets another one. Justin Wally's coming off of a torn ACL. We'll see how he looks. We haven't seen that guy play on Sundays yet. He could be bad. Very possible. He was drafted by Chris Ballard. So, obviously, you have Sauce Gardner, proven commodity. As much as I don't like the trade, the Colts did get a good player by moving those 2 first-round picks, okay? After those 3 guys, thins out pretty quickly. I mean, they're going to be calling the local crackheads to come out and play corner. It's like, hey, you can run. Get out here. Yeah. Go get the ball. You know? That's what it'll be. You know, the secondary, it's like a $5,000 set of fine china. Really nice to look at. But the second you try to use it for like Thanksgiving, someone's going to drop a plate. Your wife's going to be upset. And then Thanksgiving is over. Okay? Javarius Ward, he's elite. But the dude's made of glass. Playing in a sport that's played with hammers. Again, we haven't seen Justin Wally even play yet. He could struggle. He could be bad. He could be unable to play in the slot. It's not a great feeling when you look at this Colts team. Now, I do like the offensive line. I think it's hard not to like this offensive line. They've got 6 players for 5 spots. I think that is a place of strength for the Colts. I think it is their best position group by far, right? And look, when you have a good offensive line, it can elevate your quarterback. It's part of why Sam Darnold was good in Minnesota and in Seattle. Like, he was playing behind a really good offensive line that was able to keep the pressure away from him. It's going to be vital this year for Daniel Jones because he's coming off of a torn Achilles. And when you tear your Achilles, kind of tough to move after that. It's just kind of how it is. So the offensive line is really good. Again, it's the best single position group on this Colts team. The offensive line, like it's a solid gold foundation, right? But the Colts are trying to build a skyscraper on top of it with plywood and prayer. Not great. Okay? A great foundation is really wasted if the rest of the house can't handle a thunderstorm. And I'm just not convinced that Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen are going to be able to handle the thunderstorm this year. Major questions there. And when it comes to their skill guys, I mean, hard not to like them. You know, sure, Westbrook Akine and Ashton Doolin don't exactly get your blood pumping. You know, it doesn't make you feel the way that Diana Rossini feels when she sees Mike Vrabel. But Alec Pierce and Josh Downs and Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren, they do make you excited. You know, like they make you look forward to watching the Colts on Sundays. Look, I'll be honest. I'm excited to watch Tyler Warren in year 2. He should only get better than where he was at last year. He's going to get a lot of targets. Okay, so I think that in terms of receiving options, even though I don't like who the Colts have lining up at Z, I still like the rest of their potential targets, right? So really like where they're at there. Linebacker, I know people want to be excited about. I want to be excited about it, but you have to raise the question mark because we haven't seen CJ Allen play yet. We haven't seen him play. Okay, he could be bad. It's a real possibility. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to be a really important part for this Colts team this year. I think that their defense is really interesting. Jack said that earlier. I think it's a good point. There's a path for the Colts to win games, run the football, and play good defense. But some of these younger players, CJ Allen, AJ Halsey, they're going to have to play well. We haven't seen them play yet. We've got like a video of them catching the football in drills and shorts and practice jerseys and helmets. Like, not doing enough for me. So the three most important parts of an NFL roster: head coach, quarterback, pass rush. The Colts have questions. Everything after that, I think, is good enough to win games. Might be. Some of these rookies are going to have to prove that they belong. CJ Allen and AJ Halsey, they're going to have to show up and be impactful and play well. Because, again, if the Colts are going to win games this year, it's going to be through running the football and playing good defense. Shorten the game. Ask Daniel Jones to throw it 25 times, not 35 times. And then we'll feel good about where the Colts are at. I'm just not convinced that all that's going to happen because this schedule's tough. You know, it's the Colts roster. It's such an interesting thing, and I was trying to think of a good analogy for this because the schedule matters so much. There are certain rosters I don't really care about the schedule. They're going to win a lot of games, right? And then there's other rosters where it's like against the right schedule, then they could be pretty good. It's kind of like I guess house hunting is probably a good example of this. Like, there are certain houses that are worth more because they're in the right area. They're in a good neighborhood. The school district is really nice. And so because of that, the value of the home goes up. And then there are other times where you can take the exact same house, put it in a bad neighborhood, and the value of it is going to decrease. That's kind of how I feel like the Colts roster is. Against the right schedule, you could feel really good about the Colts this year. But against the wrong schedule, you're not going to feel very good about them at all. I think the Colts have a very hard schedule coming up this year. There's a lot of really good teams on their schedule. Like, if we were to go glass half full for all of the teams on the Colts schedule, again, it comes out Thursday night at 8. With that being said, we do know who their opponents are going to be. Like, they could potentially have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are like legitimate Super Bowl contenders could be on their schedule this year. And they could have to play one of those teams twice, Houston. So this is just a tough year for the Colts. When you look at their opponents, it's not great. Then again, the order in which their games fall, who their opponent plays the week before, because there are some teams that they beat you twice because they're just so physical and they beat you up. Obviously, injury luck around the league is going to impact what the Colts look like in things going forward. So right now, not feeling great about it. I'll have a better feeling of how they look on Thursday night when their schedule comes out. Chris, you leaning closer to over or under for 7.5 with the Colts?
I would probably say under, to be honest, but would be happy if they went over, but I don't see them. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're going to stay under 7, and we're all going to be like, yeah, I saw that coming. But if they get to like 9 or 10, I just want to be better than last year. But if we're gonna call it, you know what I mean, and we're gonna like say let's not even get to 7 wins, we got to do something about the front office and start cleaning it up, because it can't just be like, well, we'll try again next year. Like, I'm tired of that. Everybody's tired of that. Let's do something.
We like our guys. You know, we had some issues, but no excuses, because that's Ballard's new thing. What about you, Jack?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be close to 7. I don't think we'll anywhere get up to like 10. I mean, we'd have to pull out some games like when we played the Ravens 2 years ago and it was like kickoff.
Yeah.
We'd have to have a few of those games.
Oh, man. I was listening to David Letterman the other day on a podcast, and he gave one of the best ideas I've heard in a long time. So obviously now, if a game's tied, you go to overtime, and if you're tied at the end of overtime, the game's a tie. David Letterman said, love this idea so much. If it's tied after overtime, you should just treat it like soccer and have the two kickers take turns making field goals, and then whoever misses first loses, essentially. I was like, that's a great idea.
I'd be for that. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I like how they do it in college where they get closer and closer to the goal line. I like that. Like kickoffs, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Get it done quick and easy.
Let's watch him line up for 70-yard field goals.
Well, yeah, unless you have like Brandon Aubrey, he's going to kick one from like 80 yards
and
away.
It makes it more valuable.
You're going to lose every time.
Makes it more valuable, man.
If it gets to a point where they're too juiced up, just have punters do it.
Yes, yeah, punters do it. That'd actually be really funny. Oh, man, you call Pat McAfee. But, hey, man, we know you kicked at West Virginia. We just need you back for these.
Yeah.
Right.
Any early guesses on what our Super Bowl halftime show might look like next year? Any early guesses? I'm thinking they might go country this time. Like we could see Morgan.
I would love
a
Post. I would love it if they did Post Malone.
I would too.
I think he would be awesome.
But I like Post Malone's other music, not so much the country stuff. Sorry,
I like both, man. Give me both.
Dude's very talented. What say you, Jack? Who would you like to see in a halftime show next year?
If we see country, I'd like to see a Luke Combs. If not, if we go like all around, I feel like it just depends on who puts out a banger album this summer. That's really who it depends on.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
that'll make every man who watches the Super Bowl would be so excited for that. All right, we are gonna head to break. When we come back, I will tell you at 2:00 why the Colts schedule is much tougher than you are being told. But first. Oh, we're not doing no sports update. Okay, we'll be back at 2:00.
Kids dream big, often all at once. One day it's a chef, the next a superhero vet pirate. Their dreams may change, but your support doesn't have to. With Indiana 529 Education Savings Plans, start saving for their future today with flexible investment options and generous tax advantages. While they might outgrow the costumes, they'll never outgrow the need for an education. Visit myindiana529.com to get started with as little as $10. Please read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
Getting a diagnosis of cancer, it's tough.
From the moment I was diagnosed, I knew I had to go to work.
Work gave me a sense of structure that is beyond the time frame of your treatment.
Work has always been my escape.
I feel when I went to work, I wasn't sick, Keith. I was just Keith.
Work was a way that I could still feel like myself.
So when I go to work and I have this team that builds me up, and I just feel like I'm just normal.
I had a place on the team. It means everything.
Being engaged with work really helped to, I just knew I was going to beat this day.
research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. Through all of our efforts, we can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
Your new home for Cincinnati Reds baseball is Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Hour number 3 of the Real Jonathan Smith Show getting underway here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe. Maybe you're watching on X__ Jonathan Smith. Follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM if you're driving around the Indianapolis area. And I was going to talk Colts schedule, and I'm going to do that here in a minute. But I keep seeing all of these tweets. We've got ESPN on in the studio. And I don't understand this. Anytime anybody does anything in sports that might be deserving of a suspension, everyone is immediately like, suspend them for as many games as possible. And I disagree with that. Victor Wembanyama, he's going to play tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves in a very crucial Game 5 after throwing quite the elbow at Naz Reid in Game 4. He got ejected from that one, flagrant 2. And the NBA's not suspending him for Game 5. And they shouldn't. It's freaking Game 5 in the playoffs. And Draymond Green came out, and I thought what he said is exactly correct. Who commits the crime is really important. If you're a repeat offender, then your punishment is worse than the guy who does it the first time. Victor Wembanyama's not a repeat offender. He elbowed the crap out of Naz Reid. It was kind of funny. Not really, but he elbows him. He crumples. They toss him. He should totally be allowed to play tonight. I don't know why sports fans in general, not you necessarily, are overly, I don't know, why they're so invested in he should be suspended for as many games as possible. I remember when the John Morant thing happened, where he got suspended 25 games for showing a gun on his Instagram Live. And I was like, 25 games for that? That's kind of insane. Maybe 10, 25, a quarter of the season. That's over a quarter of the season. That's absurd. So I don't know. I don't know why everyone's like, let's suspend everybody for as long as possible. I think we should suspend people for as short a time as possible. That way we can watch them do their job. Jack, this is very important for you to know.
Yeah.
How old are you?
23.
Do you know what the ultimate goal in this profession is?
Championship?
Yes, but no. Chris, do you know what I'm talking about?
The ultimate
goal
In our profession, or you mean
in our profession? What's the ultimate goal?
I don't know what you're going
to get suspended with pay.
Oh,
that's the goal. The goal is to get suspended with pay.
You're like a cop.
Yeah, it's like, Jonathan, we don't really like what you said, so you're gonna go away for a week. Okay, are you gonna pay me? Yes, awesome. Amelia, pack your bags. We're going somewhere.
I feel like that's not my goal, though. That might be your goal, dude.
Nah, Dan and I used to talk about that all the time.
Okay.
It's like, what's the ultimate goal? To get suspended with pay.
That's probably the last thing I would have said, but you're not wrong, though.
Pay me to leave for a week? Absolutely. It's the dream of every American. Pay me to not work.
Sure, that makes sense.
You know? All right, back to the Colts and their schedule. The Colts schedule, it is deceivingly hard. There's this graphic floating around talking about how the Colts have like the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL this year because of everything that happened last year. Don't fall for it. Their schedule's brutal. It's going to be when you look at their opponents. Okay? But they're basing this whole 4th easiest schedule thing on last year's winning percentage. Look, their schedule is just filled with teams that underachieved last year, that are going to be going on revenge tours this year. Okay, judging this year's opponents by last year's winning percentage is like trying to drive a car when you're only looking in the rearview mirror. You know, great to know where you've been. Great to know the history of the teams that you're playing against, right? But ultimately, if you're not paying attention to what they actually have, it's pointless. Completely pointless. Okay? The Chiefs are one of the Colts opponents this year. They missed the playoffs last year. By the way, the Chiefs missed the playoffs last year and still beat the Colts. Quick question. Do you think that the Chiefs missed the playoffs 2 years in a row?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Not while Andy Reid's there and Mahomes is healthy.
That's what I'm saying. My bet, they have a winning record this year, unlike last year. Now, this is why scheduling matters. Maybe the Colts get them, week 2, coming off of a Monday Night Football game against Denver. And, Patrick Mahomes is back, but he's not 100%. Maybe their luck breaks that way. Okay. But even if, Mahomes only plays 14 games this year, they're not going, 7-10 or whatever they went last year. Okay. They'll be better this year. The Colts also have the Ravens on their schedule. The Ravens missed the playoffs last year. It's part of why John Harbaugh is no longer there. Something tells me that a team led by Lamar Jackson isn't going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. Okay, Lamar Jackson's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, even if he's not as dynamic with his legs as he used to be. They were incredibly beat up last year. There are 2 things in the NFL that are luck-based. 1, turnovers. 2, injuries. Sometimes the injury bug bites you and you're fighting uphill all year. That is what happened to Baltimore last year. Lamar Jackson missed games. Like every player on their defense missed like 3 games or more except for Kyle Hamilton. Okay? Health is a luck thing. I don't think that they're going to be as unlucky this year as they were last year in terms of injuries. They didn't build their practice facility by some weird power plant like the 49ers did, so they'll be okay. All right? Playing the Chiefs or Ravens this year, not a lucky break. Okay? You're just poking the bear, right? Those teams are going to come out really fiery. I kind of hope that the Colts catch them in the middle of the year. We'll see, but those 2 teams are looking to go on revenge tours. I wouldn't call that a scheduling break for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts also have to play the Bengals, who missed the playoffs last year. Hopefully the Colts can play the Bengals in like week 12 when Joe Burrow's hurt. But if they play him early, you're playing a Bengals team that has Joe Burrow, 2 elite wide receivers. They brought in Dexter Lawrence. They got Sexy Dexy clogging up the middle. They've invested in edge rushers in their last 2 drafts. So even though they lost Trey Hendrickson to Baltimore, by the way, who the Colts have to play, the Bengals are going to have an excellent chance to win their division this year. Okay, they are going to be much better than they were last year if they can keep Joe Burrow upright, which is always a very big question for them. The Giants, Chris's Giants, they're on the Colts schedule. They upgraded a head coach. Jackson Dart's going into year 2. Looked pretty good last year when he played. Maybe, he'll ram his head into a wall the week before they play the Colts. Very possible. But they're probably going to be better because they have a better head coach. They've also got a nasty front seven. Okay? They can run the football. Scatterbo last year was so good. Right? Same thing for him. Maybe he rams his head into a concrete wall a few times and he doesn't play. We'll see. But they're going to be better this year than they were last year because they upgraded a head coach. The Commanders, awful last year. Why? Because Jaden Daniels got hurt. He's back this year. Okay, the last time he was healthy, the freaking Commanders played in the NFC Championship game. They're going to be better because he's back. They also drafted Sonny Styles, who's going to be a studded linebacker. Okay? Are they going to go to the NFC Championship game again this year? Probably not. But they're also not going to go 5-12 again. The Vikings, they got better. They're going from backwards hat wearing J.J. McCarthy to runs like a toddler Kyler Murray. I'll take the guy that runs like a toddler, please. Okay? That guy was good enough to take a pitiful Cardinals franchise to the playoffs with Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. That's an upgrade. Okay? They're going to be better with that upgrade at quarterback. That's 6 teams that missed the playoffs last year that are going to be better this season. Those 6 teams combined to go 38-64 last year. Probably not going to happen again. Like the Chiefs are probably going to win 10 games or more than 10 games. Right? They'll go like 11-6 or 12-5. The Ravens, same with them. They'll probably win somewhere between 10 and 12 games. If the Bengals won 12 games, I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. The Commanders are probably going to win 10 or 11 games. The Vikings won 9 games last year with J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz playing quarterback for them. Kyler Murray's probably worth at least one more win. There's also 2 wild cards on the Colts schedule this year that could potentially be better. The Cowboys missed the playoffs last year. They could be a playoff team this year if they found a way to kind of shore up that defensive front. If they find a way to rush the passer a little bit better, we'll see how that goes. But the Cowboys, they could be a playoff team if Malachi Lawrence and Caleb Downs hit in year 1. The Titans could be better if Cam Ward improves. And if, look, think whatever you want about Brian Dable, but Brian Dable won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. Pretty impressive. He's the offensive coordinator there now. Robert Saleh, I think, is going to be a really good head coach. So that's potentially 3 more tough games on the Colts schedule. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that they're going to have to play the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I didn't mention that they're going to have to play the Texans twice and the Jaguars twice. And they're going to have to play the Steelers, who are just built to go 9-8 every year. Right? So this schedule for them is going to be so tough. Their opponents lining up, man, it's going to be brutal. Again, not excited at all. Getting to 8 wins feels like a pretty heavy order here for the Indianapolis Colts. And, I hope they get to 8. I hope they get to more like 11 or 12. Because that's the thing. Even if the Colts somehow, some way find a way to make the playoffs, things break their way, they go 9-8, and that's good enough for the 7 seed in the AFC. It's like, congratulations, you were going on the road to Buffalo in the first round of the playoffs where you're going to play Josh Allen and lose by 30.
Nobody wants to see that, though.
Some people do. Some people are like, I just want the Colts to make the playoffs. Why? So they can get trounced in round 1?
I feel that. Well, I talked about this with Dan, too. I was like, would you rather see them do better and barely make the playoffs and get trampled in a wild card game, or would you rather see them only win a handful of games and actually do something about the front office? You know what I mean? Because if we make the playoffs, they're going to be like, oh, well, we'll just
run it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah. What'd he say?
he said that he would rather see them make the playoffs because you always want to win. As a coach,
Yeah.
that's an obvious answer that you would get from Dan.
Yeah.
But I see the other side too.
Yeah, but it's like the whole once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen. That's why the Chiefs have played in like 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls because anything can happen.
Yeah, then it's almost like what has to happen before we see some kind of change in that aspect. You know what I mean? I kind of
Yeah.
don't want to see them make the playoffs because I want to see some changes that's going to make an impact for the future.
I've floated this theory before. I don't like floating it because I kind of feel like I'm not stepping over a line, but like Carly Ursay like lost her dad last year, and I think that's a really hard thing to deal with. And part of me wonders if like she was still grieving. She was like, you know what, like I'm obviously very invested in this Colts team. I want to stay on the sideline. I want us to get better, but I don't want to make any rash decisions because this large life event happened to me. I don't want that to impact my judgment. So let's keep it this way for one more year. Let me get a little bit of distance from this terrible thing that happened, and then we'll move from there. There's a part of me that wonders if something like that transpired.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know how many excuses you can come up with for bringing in Philip Rivers. You know what I mean? Like
he was good though. He was better than Riley Leonard.
And not taken away from, the grief stages of losing somebody like that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like if Carly had been drinking it or something, right? And like you're not gonna give her the keys and be like, yeah, okay to drive. That's not
Yeah.
okay. Like let somebody else make some decisions while you're going through that period.
Let Chris Ballard make those decisions.
I
He's
wouldn't say
next in
that.
line. He's
Yeah.
next in line.
Fair enough. I
So,
don't know if I'd say that, but yeah, you
it's-
see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wonder if they were a little more cautious because again, they didn't want emotions to impact whatever it is that they decided to do. So, we'll see. I think this is going to be the last year of Ballard. We said that last year. I just again, and even I want to talk about the justification for bringing him back because I think it makes no sense whatsoever. We'll get into that in 3 minutes.
Hey, I'm Larry Bird. I'm here to help get the message out to parents about a growing crime targeting teens right here in Indiana. It's called sextortion, and it's when teens are manipulated into sharing private content like explicit photos, which are then used for blackmail. Teens are scared to tell their parents. They feel like they have to send criminals money or more photos, hoping to avoid humiliation. These aren't bad kids. They're victims of a crime. Break the silence. Visit internetcrimesagainstkids.com to start a conversation with your teen.
This message sponsored by the Indiana State Police.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket, 1430 a.m. You can listen there if you're in your car. You can listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app. You can listen on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. And, of course, you can also watch on YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe. So before we went to break, we were talking about, Carly Ursay-Gordon bringing Chris Ballard back for year 10. And the justification for it, we were pretty good before Daniel Jones got hurt, like he's done several times in his career. We're going to bet on that again. It's just a mess, man. And when you look at sports franchises, the best sports franchises have the best owners. Like the Kroenke family. Two teams that are always really good in their respective leagues? The Rams and the Nuggets. It's because their ownership's really good. You know who's never good or hasn't been good in a long time? Like 15 years? The Chicago Bulls. Because the owners are terrible. And you can look at that for everybody. But it's especially true in football because in basketball, you can have a terrible owner like the Bulls do, but you can get lucky in the lottery, move up to the fourth pick. Whoever they take fourth, probably going to be Caleb Wilson. He could be a stud. And if he's a stud, then it doesn't really matter who your owner is, right? Whereas football, it's just not really the way it works. You have to have owners that are willing to spend money. You have to have owners that are willing to move off of bad general managers whenever they pop up. And that's what's hindered the Colts for the last, 6 years, because you're probably not firing Chris Ballard after those first 4 years. But once it became apparent that he wasn't the guy, you got to cut him immediately, right? It's a dog-eat-dog world out here. And when you realize that someone's not cut out to do something, you have to cut ties, okay? It sucks. It's not a fun thing to do. I hope I never have to fire anybody because that would just suck. But at the same time, sometimes that's just what you have to do. You have to have hard conversations sometimes. And, if you don't, then you're screwed. You're going to be locked into 8-9 or 9-8 every single year. So
would that be the equivalent of settling in a relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, if you were in a personal relationship, you had somebody in your private space every day that you lived with or whatever, and they gave you minimal effort, or you're basically just settling and saying, yes, your minimal effort of 8 and 9 on the daily is acceptable, and you know what I mean? It's okay. Then
Yeah. It's like, you're average. Hey, some people are fine with average. That's not me. We had someone in the YouTube chat earlier. I don't remember who. They were doing the Daniel Jones defense. It was like, his touchdown interception ratio at one point was 8-1. Finished at like 19 touchdowns to 8 picks. But let's just ignore that, I guess. You just thought, there you can win a lot of games when you hold on to the football and you don't turn it over and all that happy hoopla. Yeah, the Colts didn't do that last year and they went 8-9. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like the standard here has just been lowered so much. Like I remember growing up, it's like we watched every Colts game because the Colts were really good. My older brother was or is a Colts fan, and it's like, yeah, let's watch Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark, and let's watch Dwight Freeney be a monster off the edge and so on. And there was just such a high expectation for them every single year. And I think a lot of it is because Jim Irsay was a really good owner. And like I think one of my favorite Jim Irsay stories I've ever heard is 2006, the year that they won the Super Bowl. They made a trade for Booger McFarland right before the deadline. And Booger McFarland, I can't remember if he had won the Super Bowl previously or if he had just played in it. Jim Irsay calls Booger, brutal name by the way, calls Booger into his office and says, "Hey, what do we need to know so that we can be as prepared as possible for what's going to happen in this game?" Because the game's weird. Chris asked about who's going to do the halftime show this year. So like halftime's longer, and there's a bunch of media, and there's a whole week. There's like you have 2 weeks off before the game is played, and so it's weird. It's different. And so Jim Irsay was like what do we need to know so that we're as prepared as possible? That way, I know that we're ready to go. And then Booger McFarland gives them a really good answer, and sure enough, they were very prepared in 2006, and it's part of why they beat the Bears. Okay, so that's just the type of ownership that you have to have. And look, sometimes your owner is really hands-on like that, and it works. Other times they're really hands-off, and they just let the people that they hired do their jobs. And sometimes that works really well. Every place is different, but at some point we do have to look at who's up top, and I'm very intrigued to see kind of what Carly Ursay-Gordon does, because if the Colts miss the playoffs again this year, and when you look at Vegas, that's probably what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people whose heads are on chopping blocks, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. So yeah, I don't know if I had to go like gun to head or head on the guillotine. I would probably say Ballard's not here at the end of the year, but we felt that way last year. I'm more intrigued to see if Shane Steichen's going to be here at the end of the year, because the pathway for Ballard to be let go makes a lot of sense, right? Been here a long time, has never won the division or anything. The Steichen thing is interesting because Carly Ursay-Gordon's on the headset every week. She may like what she hears. She may be sitting in those meetings, and she's learned a lot about football and probably understands a lot more of the X's and O's stuff than we do. And so does that help the Colts in terms of like, like I'm on the headset, I'm hearing what he's saying, he's a good communicator, what they do play calling wise, it all makes sense. We just didn't have the players. I think that we have the right coach. We just don't have the players. Chris, if Chris Ballard gets let go this offseason, do you think they let Steichen go as well?
Maybe not at the same time. I think maybe they give him another season. Whoever decides to come in here and be like, okay, let me assess the problem, as opposed to what I heard the problem was whenever so-and-so was here. I think that's how that would play out. I almost wonder, though, if Carly was like obviously this is a family that she grew up in. She's knowledgeable, I would hope, about what's happening on the field. But did anybody ever wonder that, like, she's out there learning what's happening as opposed to knowing what's happening? Given you're not out there you're not seeing her out there going, "Hey, what does this mean? Hey, what does this mean?" But, like, do we know what she's do you know her level of knowledge prior to her dad passing away?
I think it's pretty high. Which look like sometimes when people do press conferences, there's certain things that they just have to say. And when Carly Say Gordon took over, one of the questions asked to Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen was like, she's been on the sideline. She's kind of been, I think part of why she's been on the sidelines is because we knew that eventually she was going to be the owner, and she wanted to meet with GMs and coaches and have an idea of like what was being talked about. And so whenever they talk to Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, and they're like, how much does she know? You know, they're both very complimentary. Like, oh man, like she knows her stuff. But at the same time, if you're Chris Ballard and you haven't won the division in 9 years, you can't exactly be like, she's been on the sideline for years now. She still doesn't know anything about football. You can't really say that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that she knows. I'm sure that she knows enough to run the Colts. If it's more than that, I don't know. But I think that she knows enough to run the Colts, and you know, we'll see where it ends up. I don't know. It's weird. Usually around this time of the year, I get really excited for three things in this order. The NBA Finals, which if we get Knicks Thunder, gonna be a lot of fun. The NBA Draft, which, you know, that fire got put out Sunday. And then the start of the NFL season. And I just like I don't care to watch the Colts play this year.
Like, are you trying to find something else to be excited about right now?
Yeah.
Because those are letting you down at the moment?
Yeah, it's just like what is there to be excited about with the Colts? Like CJ Allen's going to be like a really nice player. I don't think people are going to Colts games to watch CJ Allen play though. You know? I mean, I've lived here 6 years now. And I'll never forget, I got here and I was like, this place is weird. We got people walking around in Quentin Nelson jerseys. Like, you go to any other NFL city, you're not seeing people wearing offensive lineman jerseys. Like, if you go to Buffalo, they're all wearing Josh Allen jerseys. If you go to New York, they're all wearing Jackson Darts, and they're pulling out their old Geno Smith jerseys for this year. If you go to Kansas City, they're all wearing Mahomes jerseys. If you go out to L.A., it's going to be Justin Herbert and Matthew Stafford. Even bad teams. Like, if you go to New Orleans, they're wearing Alvin Kamara jerseys. If you go to Miami, they're wearing Devon A-Chain jerseys and so on. And you would think that in 6 years, the Colts will be able to find somebody that people are excited about outside of your starting left guard. And like you want to know why the Colts are so boring? Like, their most popular players, their starting left guard. Like, that's like, you talk about boring. Like, look, I'm slowly becoming a film nerd. Like, I like watching Jalen Farmer at Kentucky pull out wide at 340 pounds and just bulldoze over people. Really fun to watch. But on Sundays, I'm watching the quarter. I want to be more drawn to the quarterback and the receivers and the running back than I do the freaking starting left guard. Who's a monster, by the way.
Yeah, everybody loved Quentin Nelson here.
Yeah, and it's like, I just think that the fact that if you go to a Colts game, you see more Quentin Nelson jerseys than anything else tells you why this Colts team repeatedly goes 8-9 and 9-8.
I think part of that might have to do with price, though, because I know if you go,
okay,
no, if you go online and you go like, man, I really want a Colts jersey, but I want to spend $240. What's in the clearance bin?
Where are you buying?
Guess
Colts
who's in the
jerseys?
clearance bin? Now?
Where are you buying Colts?
Don't worry
jerseys
about that,
from?
Jonathan. Focus. Listen,
$240.
I'm just saying, but like if you're a smart shopper, you go online, you want a Colts jersey, you're probably going to take what's available. Especially if the team's not great. I know the last offensive.
But that's what I'm saying. You just said you're going to take what's best available when the team's not great.
Okay. So my last offensive, I think, jersey that I had was Peyton's jersey. Everybody had a Peyton jersey.
Yeah.
But I also had a Bob Sanders jersey, and my last Colts jersey was a Shaq Leonard jersey. Not because I love Shaq. Shaq was a great player when he was here, but it was also the cheapest one on the site.
Where are you buying Colts jerseys from?
I don't remember, to be honest, but maybe that had something to do with it.
$240.
And Quentin Nelson was the most affordable one.
Yeah, but like you see 8-year-olds walking around in Quentin Nelson jerseys. It's like it's the only 8-year-old in the world. It's the only city in the world where we got 8-year-olds walking around in offensive lineman jerseys. You know, I mean, I just I mean they're just not they're not explosive enough. They're not good enough at quarterback. Maybe we see some Sauce Gardner jerseys. Maybe.
I doubt that. Whenever you moved here, if you were a big Colts fan, ready to go and buy the first jersey that somebody that stuck out to you, who would you go after when you moved here?
Quentin Nelson was their best player. So that's probably the right answer.
Okay.
But it's like, if your best player is your starting left guard, that's an issue. And again, been here 6 years. He's still their best player. And we got an interesting comment here. Ridger says never buy a jersey with someone's name on the back unless it's in a frame. Hard disagree. I love a good jersey, man. Like, I think I don't like wearing football jerseys. I think they look dumb. but like a cool basketball jersey. Like, I got a John Stockton jersey. I have a Sidney Moncrief jersey. I've got a Dr. J jersey when he was playing with the New York Nets as opposed to, you know, the Sixers.
Right.
I got a Michael Jordan jersey. I think you can buy a jersey. It's just got to be as someone who's like retired, because the last thing you want to do is buy a Kevin Durant jersey. If you're like a Kevin Durant fan and you're trying to buy Kevin Durant jerseys, you've got like 8.
You're not wrong. I would totally agree with that. I stopped buying jerseys because as soon as I would buy a jersey, then they would switch teams.
That's why.
Like,
that's why you got to go get the retired jerseys. They're also like $110, not $240.
Yeah, I had an OBJ Browns jersey, and I also had a James Harden New Jersey or Boston, or whatever jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as soon as I would get these, then they would switch teams. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. But it's not that I like the teams, that I like the players. So,
Man, I love a good jersey. We should do we should make Thursdays Jersey Day. We wear jerseys in.
You're just making up words.
I mean, it kind of works, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
It'd be
It's your
fun.
show, bro. You can do whatever you want.
I know. I've got all of them in my closet. And one of my first thoughts when they brought me back was, I can wear all my jerseys again. Because if I rolled up to the bank in a Dr. J jersey, I don't know how that would go. I'd probably be like, Jonathan, you're not managing anybody's money today.
Dude, in middle school, I'm not ashamed to tell you that I had a Mahmoud Abdul Rauf Denver Nuggets jersey.
That's awesome. Though.
Yeah, right.
That's so sick. I love that. That's awesome. Who else, man? I'm trying to think. I really want I have a white whale of jerseys that I really want. I've been looking for one for a while. You can find them on eBay, but like none of them are in my size. They're worn. It's not good. I want a Moses Malone St. Louis Spirits jersey.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That is the ABA team that he played for. They wear these like they look red online, but I'm pretty sure like they're actually orange jerseys. And he wore number 13. I want one so badly. Buzzard, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm gonna correct you on the jerseys a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna add something to it.
Okay.
As you get older, you become more dorky wearing a jersey.
That's true.
It's a known fact. So I'm approaching 50. When you're approaching 50, the only acceptable jersey that I would wear in public is going to be a baseball jersey.
That's totally fair. There's a guy at my gym. He shows up every day in a throwback basketball jersey, and it's kind of nuts. Like today, he walked in. He was wearing like, you know, there's like the old black Heat jersey with like the pink and like neon yellow stripe. He was wearing one of those. He's probably pushing 40. I was like, not a fan of that. So that's a fair critique.
Yeah, the first that you have to graduate from is the basketball jersey, especially without a T-shirt underneath. That's the first thing you got to throw away or retire or whatever.
What if you're in shape?
After that, still doesn't matter. You look like you're trying too hard. Once you cross 30, you have to get rid of the basketball jersey no matter what, and you're in your 20s is fine.
Okay.
You're trying too hard.
Okay.
I didn't know there was hierarchies to this.
There's a hierarchy to it. So it's the only thing worse than not wearing a T-shirt underneath the jersey is going to Lucas Oil wearing a Quentin Nelson jersey tucked in your jeans, wearing a braided belt at the same time. That's the all-time worst. There's your hierarchy.
That's a good call. Buzzard, thanks for the call, man.
All right, man.
See ya. Love it whenever Buzzard calls. 317-228-1430. That's the number if you have opinions on jerseys. We will wrap the show up. We'll keep talking Colts. We'll talk a little bit of Pacers and more in 3 minutes. Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 a.m. So many ways to listen. Really no excuse not to. Ross is on the line. Ross, what's going on? We're talking jerseys right now. What you got? Hit the button again. He didn't go through. Oh! Hit drop. There we go. And then Ross call back. Jack hit the wrong button. Okay, all right. He's calling. There you go. All right, he's on the air. Ross, what's going on?
Yo, hey, we all hit the wrong buttons sometimes. I hang up on my wife all the time with my steering wheel, hitting the wrong buttons. So
that's funny.
No big deal. Yeah, so jerseys were definitely my jam back in like junior high, and not like it was. I had some really obscure ones of football, basketball, whatever. So like I get it. And then like as a grown up seeing kids, like if the Warriors are playing the Pacers, like all the kids had Curry or whatever, even though they're like maybe not a fan of or with LeBron or what have you. So it's hard to rip them for like, hey, aren't you a Pacer fan? Hey, I was like that too. So, but when I was in either 6th or 7th grade, Boomer actually came to our school.
Okay.
And I had on I believe like a purple Stoudemire Raptors jersey at the time because they were kind of a newer team and I liked the jersey and all that kind of stuff. And I had no idea that was going to happen or whatever, hey, Pacers Boomer that day. So me and another guy, I think he had like a Bulls, I want to say it was even like the Bulls 45 Jordan jersey at the time when he had that brief comeback and change number. But Boomer came up and was like kind of waving us. And then he like locked us in the gymnasium equipment room, like where the dodgeballs and stuff were, just for like a pop for everybody to cheer, stuff like that. And then he found a couple of people with Pacer stuff and, all that stuff. So that's my kind of wacky jersey story. But yeah, I think now I'm at the point of, I'm looking for more of a jersey for my son or daughter than myself too. Like, I don't know how everybody feels about, I have a gray Cubs jersey that just says Chicago, like their road uniform.
Yeah.
And I had, there was a guy that back in the day, we had our shirts at work made and I was like, hey, can you do this? And he put Campbell and then a number on the back for that. But then it's like, oh, you don't play for the Cubs. Why do you have that? Like Ridger saying about somebody else's name on your back.
It's just like,
so it's like, I know I didn't play.
Like when people do the whole, like, you don't play for the Cubs or like, obviously, I obviously don't play for the Cubs. I'm a 5'8" white guy. Okay. Who's overweight. I obviously don't play for the Cubs, but it's just, it's fun. That's all that it's supposed to be. I'm pro anything that's fun. You said that you had a bunch of like obscure jerseys when you were a kid. What was the most random one that you had?
Man, I honestly think there's a Eric Montross Celtics jersey in my house somewhere that was my stepbrother's.
Okay.
Just stuff like that, you know. I'm trying to remember who, like when the Jaguars first became a team, I had a Berline, like a Steve Berline.
Oh, wow.
Jersey, just because it was like it was before they had Brunell or anybody. And I think it had that long stretched out Jaguar logo on it, like before they even had the head now or whatever. So it's probably pissed away a lot of money on stupid jerseys and stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Ross, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
Take care, man.
You too. See ya. Yep. All right. Shout out Ross. Yeah. Jerseys are fun, man. Like sports, they're competitive, but like they're also supposed to be a lot of fun. And I don't know, man. I'm a big jersey guy, I guess for that reason. Jack C. Fitch wants to know if your last name is Meoff.
It's not yet. The papers are still in at the city council.
Chris.
I don't know.
Chris. I wish we had a camera on Chris when I said that. Oh my gosh. Oh geez.
Just turned all the shades of red just now.
That's hilarious. Jeez, that's funny. Oh my gosh. That's hysterical. Oh man.
Things you can't say on the radio for 500, Alex.
I think we say that. I can curse. We're fine.
Okay.
The show's not PG, you know what I mean? So
it's not Paul George. That is correct.
It's not Paul George. We're not playoff PEE. or playoff PED, whichever one you prefer.
Oh man. What was the most obscure jersey you had when you were a kid?
I didn't really have
You
jerseys
remember?
when I was a kid. Like I would always want them, and my parents would be like, "Jonathan, we're not paying that much money for a jersey." I've got one. What's it called? I've got one jersey that is. I've got one frame jersey. When I was a kid, I've told this story a few times. Dirk Nowitzki, he signed a jersey of mine when I was a child. That was pretty cool. I've got an Orlando Pace signed jersey, which is pretty cool. And then I've got a Charlie Trippy signed jersey, number 1 overall pick from 1947. So that is probably the most obscure jersey that I have. Charlie Trippy signed, will be framed soon, hopefully. So
I think I saw Ridger in there. He said he had a signed Damon Bailey jersey. I think everybody had a signed Damon Bailey jersey.
Oh,
I had a Pacers one that had signed, but
really,
yeah, because he was.
You said had. Do you still have it?
No.
What happened?
I lost a lot of things in a house fire. I'm pretty sure I lost that in the house fire.
That's brutal.
But yeah, Ridger, I'm with you, man. I got Damon Bailey's autograph too on a Pacers jersey.
I like that though, man. Like I'll never forget being a kid. I went to watch the Cubs play the Phillies. It's probably like 11 or 12. We're at Wrigley. Alfonso Soriano was like a big deal during that time. And there was a place where you could go gather where they would like sign autographs. And I'll never forget, Alfonso Soriano didn't look at anybody. He had like a security guard and just walked by everybody. And I was like, oh, all right, that's cool. And I appreciate the guys who are like willingly sign autographs. Like I know a lot of people don't like Shea Gilgeous Alexander, but like if you watch him before games and after games, he signs so much stuff, which is really good. I appreciate that because like you're making all this money, and I get it. Like there are parents out there who take their kids' stuff and then they sell it online, and like Wemby last year signed a game-worn jersey, and then like less than 12 hours later, it was like up for sale on eBay. And those people suck. You're ruining it for everybody else. But also like, I don't know. Just the opportunity like to make some kid's day, I think is really cool. And I think athletes should do it more. Like
Right.
I don't care if they sign my stuff, but like the 7-year-old who's standing in front of me, sign all of his stuff, please.
What were your feelings on the split jerseys, like when Peyton went to Denver and it was like half Colts and half Denver?
Pick a side, man.
Right.
The quote, what's his first name? Aaron Burr. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is it?
Man, don't do that.
Sometimes people say that, and I'm like, you know the
I'm gonna throw this at you.
You know the historical figure Aaron Burr.
You never watched Hamilton?
You ever
Chris?
seen Hamilton?
Man, I was thinking, man, just do your
It's like
thing.
if you
Quit messing with me today.
if you don't stand for something, then you stand for nothing. Pick a side. Let's go.
I was thinking you were talking about like, isn't there an Aaron Burr, ESPN, something like that?
Ryan Burr.
Okay.
You're thinking Ryan.
That's
Burr.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Oh man, this is fun. I'm having a great time. Are you doing the closing segment from there?
Yeah,
Or are you walking
I mean,
around?
I can. If he can, if you want to hit the,
All right, class. What did we learn today?
I guess you found it. We could turn it down a little bit though.
I guess you found it. Ring the bell.
Yeah. Good job, Jack. Jack over there pressing
Turn it
buttons.
up
Oh,
a
we need
little
that
bit more.
music back on though.
Yeah.
Is it not on?
The
All
hot
right,
key.
class.
Okay.
What did we learn
Just leave it
today?
up. It's all right.
This is fun. All right, so this is a part of the show that where we talk about what we learned today, and obviously, we learned that we're going to have Jers Day. I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe next Thursday, but Jers Day Thursday is happening, and also what we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show is that you have to be a special parent to name your child Booger. Is that his real name?
His real name is Booger.
Okay. Well, all right. Anyway, also what we learned today is that even though we don't have the exact Colts schedule yet, we aren't expecting to win much. That's safe to say. We also learned that Jonathan is looking to get suspended with pay.
Yes.
So
That's
what he's
why.
working
That's
for.
why I asked Jack what his last name was earlier.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Last but not least, what we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show is that Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones are both cars that Jonathan would not pick if they were options in Mario Kart.
True. I would not.
There you go.
There you go. That's good. That's a good list. That's a great way to close the show. Yeah. I mean, the Mario Kart. I'm just glad there's nothing in there on. We also learned Jonathan can't beat his wife in Mario Kart. Because that's true.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like you should make the statements regarding
regarding
your wife on
Amelia.
Yeah.
I have to make them all. I've got 12 more shows until I have to stop that because she's almost out of school, man. You parents out there who got kids about to have your hands full all summer.
Oh yeah.
Summer break's coming. I'm sure it's here for some people. But all right, that'll do it here on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, no matter how you tuned in. Jack, thanks for learning how to run the board. You can cut that music now. You're good. Chris, thanks for sitting in and talking as always. Shout out to Tony East for coming on the show. Shout out to Ross and Buzzard for calling in as well, and everyone who commented in the YouTube chat. We will talk to you tomorrow starting at noon. See ya.